Everybody hear me? Whoa, step back. Hello? Check. That better? Okay.
Look at you! You've got wings! You glow in the dark! You talk! You are a Buzz Lightyear! Base free for uncharted destruct. 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 I like your stick. Birthday we go and finish out. Corrosion or running and finish out. Birthday we go and finish out. Corrosion or running and finish out. Birthday we go and finish out. Corrosion or running and finish out. Birthday we go and finish out. Corrosion or running and finish out. Was the corrosion on here and the corrosion finish out. Was the corrosion on here and the corrosion finish out. Was the corrosion on here and the corrosion finish out. Was the corrosion on here and the corrosion. Over in that house is a kid who thinks you are the greatest, and it's not because you're a space ranger, pal.
All right, everyone, this is a stick-up. W-I, are you gonna come?
Right here.
I think I'm not going to be a perfect partner. W-I, are you gonna come?
Right here.
I think I'm not going to be a perfect partner.
Manager.
I think I'm not going to be a perfect partner. W-I, are you gonna come?
Right here.
I think I'm not going to be a perfect partner. You're flying!
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
Uncharted theme, not like not dark most. 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 Uncharted theme, not like not dark most.
W-I, are you gonna come?
Right here.
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 Well, hello, chat, and welcome to another episode of Delicious, Malicious Morning Nonsense. I hope you're all doing fantastic. Hope you're all doing at least fine. And if not fantastic yet, as always, I hope by the end of the stream, you'll at least be a little bit better than fine. Or if you're not fine, then at least fine. At least once you go up to one more level of pleasantness before the stream is done. Hello, chat. Hello, welcome. I hope you're all staying safe. Or you're all making the best of this trying time. And see, Space Junk. Hello, Space Junk. Is this Pogo? Yes, it was. Absolutely, it was. That was Pogo. Let's see here. The same guy. I hear Steven Crowder uses. But his songs are very upbeat and or normally or pleasant in some sense of the word. So I think I quite like his music also. I've been listening to him for quite some time, many years. It turns out. Spitfire, good morning, Spitfire. Hello, Sushi Guy, good morning, LD, good morning, chat, good morning, Sushi Guy. Welcome. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hello, hate mongering verbal terrorist of the Toxic Brood. Very nice name. Welcome to the chat. Hello, Satan. I'm pleased to have your company during my 12-hour workday. Oh, fantastic. Thanks for the streams. I listen to them while I can work. When I can at work. Cheers. Oh, fantastic. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Okay, so hello everyone. Hello, Archmage. Good morning. Good morning, Archmage. Hello, our Master DX. Welcome. I hope you're all ready for some delicious, malicious morning nonsense. I think it's going. Well, mainly we're going to begin with some actual it's less nonsense and more like victories over nonsense. I think you'll enjoy this. It's so much victories, Jess. So much victory. It's like a I don't know what's happening. Is it this the current pandemic? Is the current pandemic forcing people to wake up or to disregard things or to actually fight back? It's igniting that rebellious spirit inside everyone, inside every human being or something, because everyone's just fighting back. All these people are trying to go from the usual give us what we want, and then the company's saying, okay, we'll give you what you want, to these weirdos and NPCs and SJW types saying, give us what you want, and everyone's saying, no, we're tired of this. So there's some good stuff happening. Some of it was we went over a little bit yesterday, but there is a new video out by that Umbrella guy over some of it, and he usually comes in with evidence and numbers. He looks deep into the stuff, so we'll see what happens. Blue, good morning. Well, good morning to you, Blue. Good morning. I say hello, Chekhov Zendlers. Good morning to you. All right, so Criminal Imagination, welcome, Criminal Imagination. Hail Satan. Well, hell to you, Criminal Imagination. Thank you very much. Drunken Mumble, howdy. Well, hello to you, Drunken Mumble. Dan Red, I guess it's evening over there, I suppose, for you, Dan Red. Good evening to you. I think it's to you. This stream is morning nonsense. All right. Hello to you, Burf. Hello. You said hello, devil. Hello to you, Burf. Hello. And Zayukia, you have more free. People have more free time to complain. Yeah. People have more free time to complain. Before the I guess the SJWs and NPC people, they kind of had a monopoly on free time almost, because they didn't work or they had jobs where people were too scared to criticize them. So they were the only ones who were complaining. Now everyone has more free time. They have less work to do. They're all trapped inside their homes, and now they can have they're encroaching on what used to be a monopoly. Now they're starting to get on the complaining game. LCL, yo, well, hello, LCL. The Rogue Packs, hello. All right, Noble Commando, there you are. Morning, LD. Good morning, Noble Commando. Predator Gaming, hello there. Hello to you, Predator Gaming. Hello. All right, Lockie Grieve, good day, Devil. Good day to you. Narwhal Gaming, good morning, Narwhal Gaming. Sans Bowie, how you doing, Satan? Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Hope you are all doing fantastic as well, or soon will be. All right. As Matthew McConaughey would say, all right. So Rage Tornado, hello, Rage Tornado. Afternoon for you. Good morning from me, and good afternoon to you. Okay, chat. Are you ready, chat? And before we begin, of course, it seems to me that according to YouTube, I now have enough members in channel membership to unlock a new emoji, and I announced it earlier in the stream before the not early in the stream. I announced it early in the chat before the stream even started. But Neko Speak, the Neko Speak emoji, has now been released. If I get 5 more members, we could unlock a new emoji, which has not been made yet. But nonetheless, YouTube has informed me graciously that if we have 5 more members, if we get 5 more channel members, there can be another emoji. So, if you want to, the channel membership is still open. It's I believe I have it at currently $1.99 per month, and you can start messing around with the emojis. You can get access to member only posts, which 2 of them already exist. Get behind the scenes info, behind the scenes look into the creation of Dr. Alpha and future projects. And there we go. Criminal Imagination, the Neko Speak ones. Neko Speak. Awesome, awesome. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Drake the Duelist. Next emoji. Dum dum big dum dum fanboy emoji. Shiny FX. You need it. Welcome, Shiny FX, to the chat, Shiny. You need a shiny emoji. Absolutely. Absolutely. So many emojis we need to get, chat. So many emojis we need to get. I need 5 more members. 5 more members. Let's see here. Zayuki, I played through Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 about 5 times in a week during lockdown. I was very bored. Yeah, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I really enjoyed that game. That was a pretty good game. I really enjoyed that one. I played a Frieza Clan thing, which was really fun. I really like the irony of a Frieza member being the savior of the universe, or all the universes. All put together. All put together. Hello, next is 906. Neko, hi, hail Satan. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Okay. Okay, everyone. Hello, Bloodwing. This chat is crazy. I love this chat. Oh, of course you do. This chat is best chat. Obviously, this chat is best chat, and very fortunate to have a chat as wonderful as the one we do right now. Absolutely fantastic. Again, if you want to mess around the custom emojis, I kept the channel membership low. I think it's I have it set at $1.99 per month. You start messing around with these emojis, and we need just 5 more. We can unlock a new one. Unlock a new one, chat. Let's see here. But for now, because we have enough members, the Neko Speak emoji has been unlocked, so that we can add that one to the addition. Okay, chat. Let's see. We got some wonderful news, actually. Not just nonsense, but actual news detailing how people are reacting to the nonsense that's going around, and it's good for us. Not really so much good for them. Not really good. So much good for them. So let's begin with this little piece of information we already saw, but Bounding into Comics has been so kind as to gather all the pertinent information and put it all together for us in one single article. So one-stop shop for all the delightful nonsense against the nonsense. So let's check it out. And get this over here. There we go. There we are, chat. So I believe this was a Mags Visaggio thing. If you haven't heard, now we're gonna get now. You won't notice it's gonna be there's a lot of fuchsia here. Not a fuchsia here. So we'll get into this a little bit later, possibly, hopefully. Let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. But we'll get into this little fuchsia stuff later because it's an actual thing. It turns out it's not just something that just so happens to be going alongside with woke SJW nonsense. It actually is a thing. It turns out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. See how far we get and where we get to. Anyway, chat. Anyway, let's see. So this is a Vagrant Queen was a property created by the one and only Mags Visaggio, who I always keep saying, and I'll continue to say, is the worst writer I have ever had the displeasure of reading. Very unfortunate. Very, 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 very unfortunate. But the thing is, somehow, for some reason, they decided to give her a television show. I don't know why. She got a television show on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's basically how it turned out. And she was bragging about it. For some reason, in fact, Mags Visaggio is one of those people that you're not allowed to criticize. That's why even though she sells maybe the thousands to the hundreds on books, because if you didn't know the numbers on the number side of that, when you're working in the actual industry, that is dismal. That is dismal. Okay, that's a horrific. That's nightmare fuel scenario. In any other circumstance, because was it Mags Visaggio is trans, so she's not allowed to be criticized. So had Mags Visaggio been under any other circumstance, under any normal circumstance, Mags Visaggio will probably be fired a long time ago. But you can't do that to a person on Mags Visaggio's standing. Okay. So instead of getting fired, she got a television show, and she started bragging about it, saying, "Hey, look, I got a television show. You guys all are terrible. Where are your television shows?" And we got this came out a long time ago, but we finally got an article by Bounding into Comics that came out yesterday to give us the rundown to give us the rundown. Let's see here. The one with Servants Tanya Fuchsia emoji win. Well, actually, the my themes emoji, the my themes emoji, Zofrat's made in fuchsia. Just to point that out. But I guess we could get a fuchsia emoji. We'll see what happens. And unfortunately, I need 5 more members in order to unlock the new one. But we'll see what happens. Let's see where we get to. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so let's go through this chat. Maybe I think they give us a nice little rundown, let's say a timeline on how things progressed. Let's check it out. So Sci-Fi's Vagrant Queen adaptation posts lowest ratings of first season. I think it's already been canceled, in fact. Max Rosaccio is of course, hardcore social justice warrior. Hardcore NPC. Makes nothing but political propaganda. Nothing but political propaganda. Like there's no even not one single attempt to make an actual story from Max Rosaccio. It's just political propaganda. I think Max Rosaccio is even one of the. I think Max Rosaccio is even one of the ones who probably would get in the Twitter spat and then make the person she argued with that day or the previous day the villain for the new comic she's writing. It's ridiculous how petty these people are. But you know, it is what it is. So to turn a phrase, to take a cliche phrase, it is what it is. And of course, she's not going to get fired. Of course, nothing's going to happen. However, when you jump out from it turns out that if you jump outside the comic book industry, merit starts to matter a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Let me see. Sam's Bowie, favorite comic recommendation? Do you like independent works like Hellboy? Oh, absolutely. In fact, I prefer independent works. In fact, as controversial as it might be to say, recently, if you heard about the whole incident with Allegiance Comics and how they made a deal with Walmart to release their independent books, and which is fine. However, 2 years ago they crowdfunded a comic called Red Rooster. Backers have not yet received Red Rooster. However, Walmart shoppers could. Not the whole thing, of course, but the first third, I believe. The first third of the story, Red Rooster, is now available in Walmart all over the country, all over the United States. And they have Bass Reeves, and they have some other comic. I bought them all. The thing is, Red Rooster I would recommend. I read that one. I completed that one. The first third of whatever is available in Walmart. I completed that one. It actually is pretty good. That's controversial to say because a lot of people are mad at the Allegiance Comics because, of course, they've crowdfunded Red Rooster, and the backers have not yet received Red Rooster. However, the first third of Red Rooster is available in Walmart. So it's kind of like if you back Dr. Alpha, and it took me 2 years. After 2 years, I still have not delivered Dr. Alpha, and you found the first third of Dr. Alpha in Walmart available to everyone. But I would recommend Red Rooster. It's actually pretty good. I read it. And I also recommend The Boys. That was a really good series. I really like Sandman, Lucifer. They've all been pretty good. I really like those Neil Gaiman-esque, like Lucifer. Neil Gaiman proper, like really Neil Gaiman classic, and then Neil Gaiman-esque, which is Lucifer. All pretty good. Of course, Alan Moore. Pretty much anything Alan Moore has written, except for some more weird stuff, which you might not really like all that much, because Alan Moore can get pretty weird. But League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I really like that one. Well, until it got really, really weird, which is like I think when the closer it gets to modern day, the weirder it gets. So I would recommend like the first 2 volumes of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Very, very good. Very, very good. Then it gets more than modern day, and it gets kind of strange. But first two, very, very good. Believe it or not, I reread a comic book called Secret Six. It's still pretty good, even though it was written by Gail Simone. It was still pretty good. Maybe I guess this back when she actually had to try to keep a job, before she was unfireable, because she proved herself able to whip up a social justice hate mob and force herself not to be fired. So Ever since then, she decides to she learned that she didn't have to actually try anymore. She didn't actually have to work anymore, and said, "Well, I can just pump out anything that they'll just even if they fire me from one book, they'll definitely give me another one." So she has a really cushy position. She can pump out garbage and still keep a job. To have a job security, guaranteed. Until Pencils Down came around, of course. Then they can't really hire anyone. But anyway, Chad. Anyway, let's see what we have going on here. So, Vagrant Queen, written by Max Visaggio, I believe, and hardcore NPC, hardcore SJW. The Max Visaggio being the person who famously said that she's going to take a baseball bat to the cisgendered people and violently assault them, and was not punished in any way. The company. Let's see here. Okay, so she has I think it's a creator owned thing called Vagrant Queen, which already sounds cringy enough. And it's really, really strange, really, really strange stuff. And they made, according to this, it was adapted by the Sci-Fi Channel for a television show, and it got immediately canceled, almost immediately. I think it lasted a few episodes, and it had the lowest ratings of the entire lineup, and so it was canceled. Max Visaggio is also one famous for almost winning an award, for being nominated, but even the people who nominate people for these awards, even the people who give out these awards, were not insane enough to actually give Max Visaggio one. That would insult everyone, even the fellow SJW NPC weirdos. They would say they can't give an award to Max Visaggio. That just defeats all the purpose. That would be defeat the entire thin veneer of merit that we have going on here. Like, even other weirdos who produce horrible stories produce better stories than Max Visaggio, and they knew that. Dead. Wait, you said that? And we're the hateful one. Yeah, you can actually look it up on Google. Like, if you can look up Max Visaggio baseball bat or something like that, you can actually find it. So anyway, let's see here. Sci-Fi's Vagrant Queen adaptation posts lowest ratings of first season. Sci-Fi's Vagrant Queen, which is an adaptation of Vault Comics' series by Madeline Visaggio and Jason Smith, posted its lowest ratings of its premiere season, which means that it had the highest rating on episode 1, and then it got worse from there. That's usually how the trajectory of NPC woke works. Is that it starts high. Episode 1 starts off pretty high, and then it just nosedives into a cliff. Kind of like the same trajectory of Star Trek Picard. Starts off pretty high, and then just crashes to Earth immediately, like a rock. It's always fantastic to see these woke, arrogant people crash and burn. They just impale themselves on their own hubris. It's fantastic. Like, every single time. Every single time. Let's continue, shall we, chat? Oh, let's see here. So, Leibowitz, I watched 2 of the episodes, and the lead character is highly unlikable, and writing is just dreadful. I could probably guess that just by the fact that it was written by Max Visaggio. At the very least, I'm it's guaranteed it's going to be horrible writing because it's a Max Visaggio thing. And on the other hand, it's going to be guaranteed to be unlikable because it's a woke thing. Woke creators, woke writers cannot seemingly make a character that is likable under any capacity. It's pretty remarkable. Let's see here. As a Yukio, judging by the screenshot, the show has the same budget as a Prawn parody. Speaking of which, we'll get to something like that in a little bit. Not a parody, but you'll see. Let's see here. The lowest ratings in the season premiere. A series follows former child queen Alida. Oh, that sounds like she actually has a female name. That's kind of strange. And she goes on the run after her mother. I noticed how the main character looks like a woman. It's because that these weirdo approved body type people that are called female characters but actually look like men, they don't actually exist in real life. Like there's no there's no like monstrosity that is like in nature. Like there's no people who actually look like SJW comic book pros. There's just like characters. There's no actual people in real life that actually look like these things that they call characters in modern Western American comics. These little these malformed creatures. I don't know what they're called, but they're like abominations of humanity. They don't actually exist in real life. Okay, they don't actually exist at all in real life. So they actually had to get a woman, like an actual woman, to play the main lead. I'm pretty sure she's regretting it now because this is now she has this on her resume, this thing that just immediately crashed and burned. She has to admit that, yeah, I was starring on the show called Vagrant Queen. She'd probably have to go around hoping no one has ever heard of this thing, which there's a good chance. So that ball's in her court. So let's see here. Queen Alida, as she goes on the run after her mother was shot and killed by Commander Lazario, the man who was also brought down, the man who also brought down the Empire. However, Alida's mother apparently did not die, is still alive. After a life of scavenging in the wilderness, Alida teams up with a man named Isaac, an optimistic mechanic named Amay, in order to rescue her mother. Okay. The rescue mission requires Alida to break into the heavily guarded area of space that Alida's family once ruled. Not only does Alida have to rescue her mother, but she will encounter cannibalistic aliens, dangerous planets. So cannibalistic aliens, like aliens that eat their own kind, that won't really bother her that much, unless she's one of those aliens. Dangerous planets, shootouts, karaoke. Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is an NPC work. It's all quirky. Look, you're gonna have cannibalistic aliens and dangerous planets and shootouts and karaoke, of course, Slay Queen, and parking tickets. Wow, so cringy. So cringy. Why do they always do this? You can always tell this because they don't know really they don't know how humor works. Okay, just because you're quirky does not mean it's fun or funny or in any way human. Okay, so look, they always have this particular pattern of listing things. So they go from serious. They always try to subvert things. They always try to deconstruct things. So while a serious person who took things seriously would say this series is filled with cannibalistic aliens, dangerous planets, shootouts, and imperialistic oppression or whatever. An NPC would list it like this: cannibalistic aliens, shootouts, dangerous planets, and karaoke and shopping or whatever, and parking tickets. Of course, they would say something like that. It's indicative of a social justice NPC weirdo way of describing things. They can't take things seriously. They have to make everything into a joke, and nothing actually matters. And that will complicate her journey and bring her closer to falling into the clutches of Lazario and his forces. Alaya Yagami is an average 10 to 15-year-old that isn't a Mary Sue. As here, our Master DX, LOL, so quirky. Yeah, so quirky. We have to watch it now because it's quirky. And quirky is the only way to go these days, apparently. Only way to go. And I see Alan Michael Washburn parking tickets. Just why TLJ did that, and it was horrible. Yeah, they did, because they can't make anything serious. If they take something serious, then it has meaning, and they can't have that. And if it has meaning, then they have to take it seriously. They can't have things that have meaning. If anyone has seen Last Jedi, they are dedicated to removing the meaning from pretty much everything. Because it's more big brain, it's more philosophical, it's more mature, or whatever they want to call it, to have things be meaningless. Because if things have meaning, then they have to adhere to rules and stuff. They can't have that. Lucky Jinx, hello, Lucky Jinx, hi everyone, and yes, it's like the NPCs are trying so hard to fit in. They never grew out of high school. Have you ever heard them cuss? It's very awkward. They have the high school mentality. They're all mean girls. They all whisper behind each other's backs. It's pretty much disgusting. Pretty disgusting. Okay, so let's see here. San Bully, he has 100% of Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not actually surprised about that because no one has heard of the show. I'm pretty sure no one has really heard of the show other than to read about how big it failed. So I'm pretty sure the only people voting on Rotten Tomatoes are the woke weirdos and Mac Visaggio's friends. That's it. No one watched the show. Nobody watched the show. No one even heard about the show or the property it's based on. So of course, if you haven't seen the show or know about it, then I'm not won't be surprised they can't vote on it. So I'm actually not surprised that it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes because of course the critics, quote unquote, the critics cannot actually they cannot critique this thing. They can't. They can't give it a low score. Otherwise, they're transphobic. And on the other hand, there's no one who isn't like in the NPC realm, and no one who isn't Max Visaggio's friend knows about the show. So of course they're going to go all over there and swarm vote this thing. So let's see here. Let's check it out, shall we, chat? Let's see what else they have to say. Let's see what else they have to say. The rescue mission requires Alita to break into a heavily secluded area of space that Alita family once ruled. Now, not only does Alita have to rescue her mother, but she will encounter cannibalistic aliens and all that good stuff, and that will complicate her journey and bring her closer to falling into the clutches of Lazario and his forces. The 6th episode of the first season that aired on Thursday, May 7th, posted a 0.03 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic and only saw viewership at 208,000 people according to TV series finale. Wow, the finale had 200,000 people watching on a major network. On a major network, people kind of mock for its low budget, low quality films. People have grown accustomed to that. Let's see. So you have to remember that Mag's show was sold to an international audience. It was filmed in South Africa, and the version I watched had Arabic subtitles. Really? Oh, that's just awkward. That's just awkward. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. So according to the series finale, so here it is. Thursday, 5/7/2020. Yeah, so down 25% and all the good stuff. So that 0.03 rating is the lowest the series has posted in the first season. A total viewership was up from the previous episode's low. Because of the season finale. Of course it was. The show has performed poorly since it initially launched on March 27th. The premiere episode posted a 0.10 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, with total viewership at 375,000. So judging from the premiere to the finale, they lost over 150,000 viewers. That's huge. That's a huge drop off, but not surprising. That's kind of the pattern of Mag Visaggio's works, to start off a little higher than most. Well, not most, but a little higher in relative to her other works, and then it just takes a nosedive. Let's see, Adam Davidson. I remember when Mags tried to dunk on CG, saying, "At least I have a TV show." Yeah, I remember too. And now we're all sitting back laughing at how dismally it failed. It's fantastic. So it was more of a victory for everyone else that gave Max Visaggio a TV show. I wonder if someone at the Sci-Fi Channel actually likes Comicsgate and said, "You know what? Let's go ahead and give Max Visaggio a television show, and we'll watch her crash and burn, and it'll be all a big laugh, and all the steam and how far she thinks she got ahead will not only be diminished, but it'll go backwards." So anyway, because Max Visaggio, I'm pretty sure, is my opinion that she is the worst writer I've ever read. It's probably not all that far away from the general consensus of how she's viewed or how her writing is viewed. Let's see here. Okay, it's dead. I know why the show failed without even having to watch this cancer. Yeah, so do I. So do I. Because it was a Max Vitaccio property, and Max Vitaccio kind of kills whatever she touches. Kind of like the walking embodiment of death, but in comic books. Apparently, television shows too. Let's see here. Matthew Jabe Nimnaw, welcome. Late. Good morning, chat. Well, good morning, Matthew Jabe Nimnaw. Welcome. So let's continue here. The show has performed poorly since its initial launch, and since then, the show has steadily declined in the ratings and viewership, with the May 7th episode the only one bucking the declining viewership trend. Okay. In fact, here's the ratings episode. Wow, it's all red. Look at all that red, chat. Look at that red. That's it's not good. That's not all that great. We don't want red. You want green. You want green everywhere. But the red, when it comes to the Max Vitaccio television show, red is all over the place. Red is just all over the place. Let's see. So, in fact, Vagrant Queen is the worst performing sci-fi show of the current lineup, according to the the TV series finale. The show falls behind Wynonna Earp season 3, Krypton season 2, The Magicians season 5. Season 5 is Happy. Season 2, Van Helsing season 4. Van Helsing I heard was really bad, and Killjoys season 5. Then they're all canceled too. Ryo and Earp is the best-selling one, I think, and it got renewed. Krypton canceled. Magicians canceled. Happy canceled. Van Helsing renewed/ending. Killjoys ended. Vagrant Queen. What is going to happen? It's pretty low. It's only on season 1. The show has a 79% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow, even Max Visaccio's friends couldn't get her up to 80%. Of course, she got a 100% rating from critics because they're all woke over there at Rotten Tomatoes. You can't really. Same thing. If you remember what happened to Black Panther, how it had 100% on the critics score of Rotten Tomatoes, and the one guy who dared to give it not a bad score but less than perfect score got lambasted by the media, saying that the action scene should have had more violence or something. And he got lambasted, not for giving it a bad score. He just gave it a less than perfect score, and broke that 100% thermometer. Vagrant Queen. However, it has a 5.1 user score on the metric, which is bad because no one would vote on this except for like Max Visaccio's friends and her SJW ilk. So even the SJWs, it's like when they try to nominate her for an award, had to be honest in the end. At least some of them did, and say, no, this is awful. No, we're not giving Max Vitaccio an award. We can nominate her, but we're definitely not going to give her an award. I mean, that'd be terrible. It's a terrible idea. There are weirdos out there who can legitimately write better than she can. You know, it's still terrible, but it's better than Max Vitaccio. What do you think of these plummeting ratings? I think they're fantastic. And declining viewership, I think it's a win for everyone who has any semblance of sanity left in their heads. So yes, it's a big victory for us, chat. Big victory for us. Fantastic stuff. The numbers, Black Panther CGI looked like something from a PS1 game. I tried watching that movie before. I fell asleep during it. I guess it makes me racist or whatever. But you have to remember, this is look at all this fuchsia everywhere. All this fuchsia everywhere. Of course, it's going to fail. No one wants things slathered in fuchsia. Okay, we want good stuff. Anyway, chat, let's keep going. I have way more stuff to go through. A lot more stuff. Plenty more. So let's see. Okay. Uh-oh. So I wanted to close. Anyway. Well, we'll have this. We have we'll go over this. That umbrella guy released a video detailing how how Kickstarter is burning itself to the ground. A little bit of the information we went over, I believe, yesterday. But he has the numbers, I believe. So let's check it out. Make sure everything's up. There we go.
So after a tumultuous last few months, culminating in a 25% drop off of projects coming to Kickstarter. Kickstarter is deciding to clean house. Some of the people that they're getting rid of are a person like this. This is somebody that has been the outreach lead for comic books. And what they've been doing while they're in charge, oh yeah. I mean, this is a statement while they were working there. I mean, listen to this. And we're going to go through more stuff that comes up too. Also, if you're a white creator and you're writing an all person of color cast, I don't know. I just feel like whose voice are you taking away from? Are you doing right by them? Are you sure they're not characters from a flimsy Bennington ad? Just as people of color have to work harder to prove themselves to the mainstream, you have to work harder to prove yourself to us, you know. It works both ways. So imagine that person in charge. Imagine how many things that they've banned, and imagine the impact that that has. They've also had another impact from going out.
If you don't remember, chat, this was the Kickstarter is the one with the Camilla Zong, with the political commissar who rejected your boy Zach, who rejected Ethan Van Sciver, who rejected Mike S. Miller, and who basically made choices on who could and could not start a campaign on Kickstarter based on personal politics. And even if they allowed you on, there was no way that they would promote your product, at least not as well as they could have if your politics did not agree with them. So if your politics were not made known, if your project was not like overtly social justice or overtly NPC, quote unquote progressive, then they won't show your they won't give you that much promotion or any promotion at all, because that we've heard back for some of these people. And the thing is, even if your project brought in $40,000, $100,000, if it's not known, it's not very clear that you are aligned with the NPC crowd, okay, they will not promote your book, at least not overtly. But if you are overtly aligned with these people, they will. So we have a case of, I don't know. I think there's one guy said he got like $40,000, $40,000+ on his project, never promoted. But one book about like I don't know, lesbian anthology or something like that, it raised like $4,000. Heavy promotion. So they not only did they reject you based on politics, but even if they accept you, and they say, okay, you're not. I guess you're not toxic. I guess you're not all that toxic. So you're allowed to. We'll let you. We'll give you the graces of allowing you to open up a campaign on our site. So even then, they say, okay, you're not. You may not be toxic, but you're not. You're not an ally. Okay, so we're not going to promote you, but you can open something here. I see here Nexus 906. Thank you much for the five. Appreciate that. If people treat their shows like house cats, when we see them for the tigers that they really are, and they wonder why they fail. Exactly. And something else I was pointing out, I think by your boy Zach. I think it was him. I forgot who exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was your boy Zach. Slash Diversity in Comics. That's Richard Meyer. Slash Comics Matter. He has a lot of names. He has so many names now. But he pointed out that these weirdos, they tend to talk to people. We always point out that these weirdos tend to talk to people like children. But if you notice, they tend to talk to people like cats, like everyone else around them. They talk to you as if you were a cat, as if you were a pet, not just like a children, but just like a pet. So, just well, you did so good. You did so good. Get up here on the. You want to ready to go outside? Ready to go outside? Yeah, that sort of thing. Just listen to any of these NPCs, like any of these NPC social justice warrior types. If they're making a video that specifically is targeting and talking to people that they that align with them, they tend to speak like they're talking to a pet, not really human beings. It's very peculiar, very disturbing. But that's how it is. That's how they are. Zofrats, welcome Zofrats. Hello, LD. Have you told Best Chat how cheap you are yet? I believe earlier I did. But yeah, membership, channel membership. We need just 5 more for a new emoji. But channel membership is set currently at $1.99 per month. You can have access to all these goodies. You can have access to all the goodies. So I have it set at $1.99 per month. So if you're interested in that, interested in joining the membership and getting access to all these interesting emojis, feel free. It's currently set at $1.99 per month. So there we have it. Christopher Cole, they talk to you like a cat, likely because they are really a Karen. Yeah, I think it's the social justice movement, the NPC people. It's just a bunch of Karens who decided to organize and take over society. Like this is what happens when Karens are given empowerment. Anyways, continue, shall we? Let's continue. Let's see here. After years of awkward growing pains. Yeah. So this is years and years and years of build up, but now it's finally collapsed. So let's see what else he has to say.
And unionizing because of a certain book. Always Punch. I'm going to call it that from now on without the last word. But
that's also correct, chat. So they were not unionized. I don't think. Before they rejected things like Lone Star by Mike S. Miller, they rejected Cyberfrog, they rejected Jawbreakers, they rejected all these things. Okay, but they took a stand for a book called Always Punch Nazi. So it's not about politics. It's not this is political. This is divisive. We're not going to allow you to crowdfund on here. These are the right kind of divisiveness. It's the right kind of politics. So if you made something like, I don't know, the Magnificent Seven or something, which I think Mike S. Miller is doing, but if you made like a book about Trump that's pro-Trump, you'll be rejected immediately. But if you made something called Always Punch Nazis, which is something that these weirdos like to call Republicans or anyone who's right wing of Karl Marx, and then that's what they call you. They call you a Nazi, and so they call it. They code it by saying "Always Punch Nazis." Or hashtag punch Nazis. And what they really mean is punch Republicans. What they mean is punch your fellow American in the face because they disagree with you. But they protect themselves by calling it punch Nazi because then once you try to say that's a bad thing, they'll say, well, you disagree with punching Nazis? So they clothe themselves and protect themselves, armor themselves, and quote unquote morality. And that's how that goes, unfortunately. But according to the Kickstarter storyline, they rejected all these other books based on politics. But then they a lot of the level-headed people over there at Kickstarter, which I guess actually exist over there. Okay, they said, okay, well, we rejected all of these projects because of politics. So we have this one called Always Punch Nazis, a book called Always Punch Nazis. So we should be able to reject this one too, right? Because that way it's fair. And the weirdos who work at Kickstarter took a stand and unionized just so that Always Punch Nazis could stay up there and be funded. That's how these people work, chat. That's how they work.
N to the A to the Z to the I's. Now, that story is absolutely hilarious too, because it tears apart the foundation of this platform. And we're going to talk about both, plus this person's message as they leave. So, hey there. So, today we return to that wonderful world of Kickstarter. And speaking of Kickstarter, we're going to Indiegogo May the 15th to launch our second comic book. Yep, we don't use Kickstarter at all. Why? Because Kickstarter would probably ban us from doing an all ages Lovecraftian adventure, having fun out there, putting something together for my daughter to enjoy and for all of us to enjoy together. And if you want to sign up before that comes up, we have an exclusive trading card that you'll get only.
Let's see here. Neko Speak, Creative Imagination. Alex Halo, welcome, Alex Halo. I see a Neko Speak emote. Absolutely, you do. It just got unlocked. And so enjoy that. I know you wanted that one in particular. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoys that. Everyone enjoys that. Zayuki, I'm pretty sure I got interested in slight BDSM because of Totally Spies. Thanks, guys. Yeah, they're trying to indoctrinate the young, trying to corrupt the youth. But yeah, this is that Umbrella guy's new project. I think he's actually launching it in 2 days. I believe, what is that? May the 15th? That's Friday. This Friday. He's actually launching this, and he invited me to be on. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, we don't get too many crazies popping in, but we'll see. We'll see. The crazies make it fun.
This way with purchase. So sign up for it. Yeah, fun times. Fun times. I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. So speaking of Kickstarter here, like I said, this person they're talking about, this is their last week at Kickstarter. It's been an honor and joy to have served the comics community as an outreach lead, and I'll continue to do so on my own, offering free advice via tinyletter.com. In the meantime, here is my love letter to creators and colleagues at Kickstarter United. We'll look at that in just a second. Now, I want to show you their love letter to other people since they've been hired. I want you to see, first of all, this was them, before they got hired there. This was stuff, I went and pulled it up myself. A lot of this stuff that you see out there are actually my screenshots because I went to pull them up. But in May of 2018, this person was hired. So remember, again, some of the statements we're going to see before May 2018, they show how they probably got the job and what they were doing after they got the job. You knew this would be a problem too because you saw buzzwords coming up. They would say empathy,
and there we go. Her passion for promoting empathy, inclusion, equality. It's a great story to sure. These are all things they use to say we're promoting only our kind of empathy. Okay, you have to empathize with our stuff only. Inclusion of our stuff only. Let's put the words "our views only" or "of" or "with" or "of our views only" after these words, and that's what you get the real message from. So Camilla Zong, she's all about empathy with her views only. She's all about inclusion of her views only, and equality of her views only. And that's it. Let's see here. Alex Halo, thank you for watching the 2. Appreciate that. And Squid Girl probably got people into Yuri. Is that famous? Is that what that's called? The famous painting from Japan? Or is that another? Anime? Is that another anime? Let's see here. Lucky Jinx, that happens sometimes. You think you're safe from LD's evil red eyes, but then he sees all anyway. Yes, be careful. Careful. I see all and hear all. Anyway, let's continue for now.
Inclusion and equality are what they're bringing to the table. And of course, they don't mean that. They mean, hey, I'm going to gatekeep utilizing those words. It always caught me on who this person was in 2017. So just listen to this dream.
Here's Camilla. Here's Camilla's actual Twitter. Everyone. By the way, everyone after she was brought up as the commissar went to her Twitter and saw all kinds of usual nonsense, like all these anti-white stuff, all this weirdo nonsense. So last night's dream, my mom and me and millions of POC are marching in a field. We have to hurry, otherwise our oppressors will catch up. Who says things like this? Who dreams things like this? You're just always oppression is always on your mind. Does this person sound like they're very inclusive? So let me give you an example here. What has anyone seen the Batman the Animated Series? What does Batman do? There's one episode in particular, right, where there is like this guard who goes over the top and how he punishes the villains who are in Arkham Asylum, where he goes over there and like psychologically abuses them, he physically abuses them, he terrifies them, to the point where they have to have like a hearing, like a court hearing, where to determine whether or not he stays in employment. And Bruce Wayne is actually on the sides of the villain because he's just this guard is so brutal and over the top. He doesn't see these inmates as people. He sees them as horrible criminals that deserve to be tortured and that deserve to suffer. In my opinion, Camilla Zong is like that guard who just wants to make these people suffer because they're bad guys. And an actual person who is into inclusivity, an actual person who is into equality and empathy, that's Batman. That's Bruce Wayne, the guy who fights these guys on a daily basis, the guy who sees these criminals commit crime after crime after crime and puts them into Arkham Asylum, and goes to bat for them when they're being abused anyway, because he treats everyone equally. He treats everyone with empathy, and he treats everyone with inclusivity. Camilla Zong's point of view is that guard, whereas you're a bad guy. In her words, you're an oppressor. So I'm going to go ahead and torture you. I'm going to go ahead and ruin your life. I'm going to go ahead and treat you like a nothing, an absolute nothing. Let's see, Mark in 3D. Hello. Well, hello, Mark in 3D. Welcome. Let's see, Sans Boili. What's your opinion on webcomics? Have you heard of webtoons? Absolutely, I've heard of webtoons. I go over there sometimes. There's some pretty interesting things over there, and so far as I know, it's free. It's free. So, yeah. So that's how I want. That's why I'd paint in my opinion. She's not actually inclusive, chat. She's not actually all about equality and inclusivity. She's that guard who tortures you if you're a bad guy. The person that she's trying to make herself out to look like is Bruce Wayne, when she is nowhere near Bruce Wayne.
Last night's dream. My mom, me, and millions of people of color are marching in a field. We have to hurry, otherwise our oppressors will catch up. Who do you think their oppressors are going to be? I wonder. Now we're marching through a graveyard, and hoofbeats start to rumble. We look back, and we see some stragglers running, screaming. White men on horses. Of course, white men are always the monsters, right? Are mowing.
Here's some more, chat. Here's some more. This is the person who is saying yes or no to you if you wanted to start a project on Kickstarter. See, we have more information here with some more evidence here that she isn't. I'm not just piling on things on her or taking her out of context or just saying that she's an SJW because she has short hair and colored differently or anything like that. Or we just took a few things out of snippets or whatever. This is a whole line of tweets that she has. Okay, I see Andrew Sabina, right? It's called Lockdown. The episode's called Lockdown. That's it. I think it's because the guard gets fired. I think he goes crazy and he becomes a vigilante in his own right. And I think the vigilante is called Lockdown. And he goes after all these criminals. Let's see here. White men. You can't have the white men. Let's see here. Drake the Duelist. The Batman story sounds a lot like the colonial era rebellion where Brits shot at writing Americans, only for American justice system to get the Brits exonerated. Yeah, something like that. So let's see here. Because she has now we're marching through and graveyard and hoofbeats start to rumble. We look back. This is all about the dreams, all about the evil white man. The evil gotta fear the evil white man. I pass out and wake up in a Victorian boarding house. I asked for my mother. They ignore me. I asked for my book that either I or my friend had. Yeah, that's what they should do. They should ignore you. Everyone should just ignore you. That's what they should do to these weirdos. Just ignore them. They'll cry, they'll scream, and they'll screech. But ultimately, if you don't give them power, they won't have power because they can't get it on their own. They'll be actually dangerous if they can actually accumulate power through merit, hard work, and talent. But they have none of those things, and they're not willing to do any of those things. That's why they always talk about empowerment, because they want you to empower them because they can't get power on their own. That would actually make them dangerous. But if you don't give them power, they won't have any power over anyone. So stop giving them power. Just ignore them. That's all you have to do. Just when they start crying and screaming, just kind of just shut them out, and so many problems will be solved. So many wonderful problems will be solved. Let's see here. Baptist 702. The difference between the guard and this SJW is that she is demonizing and torturing innocent white men, not true criminals. Yeah, exactly. At least the guard was torturing criminals who actually did something wrong. Rock and Taylor for 499. Appreciate that. Fear is the mind killer. People are not human. They are fearful animals, confident in their herd uniformity. They march hand in hand, machine men. Exactly. That's all they worry about. And you hear these people talk about it, and you hear these people tweet every day about how they had dreams like this, and how they always think about how horrible the world is, and how nothing is good, everything is horrible. It's a terrible place to be in, I think. Terrible mindset. They're always if you take their words at face value, then these people are always scared, always paranoid, and they're always looking over their shoulder. Like they're always worried about someone murdering them outside the door when that's not true at all. I'm not sure if they're trying to make this mentality just to be victims, which is totally possible. I'm not sure if they're trying to have this mentality to just to convince other people, like or that they have actually been legitimately convinced that this is true by the people who want to just play the victim, which is also again completely possible, logical, and probable.
People down. My mom and I run but lose each other in the chaos. I scream for her, and a man gets off his horse and hits me in the head with the back of his rifle. I'm fighting to stay conscious through the dizzying pain. I scream for her again and get hit in the head harder. I pass out and wake up in a Victorian boarding house. I ask for my mother. They ignore me. I ask for a book that either I or a friend had written. I can't remember which. They tell me that the book is banned and I can only read from a list of approved books. I wake up and I realize the nightmare is real. Yeah, you went and you created that. So, of course, the nightmare was realized, I think, before real. See, what's fascinating is that under this person's direction, books like Lone Star from Mike S. Miller were actually removed from Kickstarter. Why? Because Lone Star is a white hero and he was fighting MS-13. And even though they're a gang, even though he was actually saving a quote-unquote person of color, yeah, that's not allowed.
This person is insane. This person is absolutely insane. As he Barry Ben, have you seen the show Megas XLR? It's the only cartoon to be set in New Jersey. Is that the one with that nerd guy, the video gamer who drives a robot, like a giant? I'm not sure if it's a giant mech, but it's a mech. Is that one? Because I know that show. If that's the one you're talking about, I remember. I forgot what it was called, but it's like this video game guy, and he gets control of a robot. He's really good at driving it. It's better than the pilot who came with it. Like it's the opposite of a Mary Sue. It's the opposite. If that's the show you're talking about, it's the opposite of how the real women are written today. Because the woman, there's a female character in there who is the original pilot of the suit, and she comes to Earth and she's not really all that great about it. She's not really all that great about piloting it. And this guy comes along, this Earthling comes along. He's really good at video games. And he's like 10 times better than she is at piloting it because he's been playing video games his whole life. And if she were Ray, she'd just be the best ever. And the video game guy and his best friend would just be there to and make sure the audience knows how awesome she is. Not the case in that show. That's the same show. Criminal Imagination, and that girl who dreamed that Trump did something to her, so she tried to sue him. I think I vaguely remember that. I do remember an incident when the whole campus scare was going around. You know how a couple of years ago when they're proudly touting the statistic that like 80% or 90% of women are raped on college campuses or something like that. When and then Milo Yiannopoulos came out and said these are ridiculous statistics because this is worse than the Congo, where rape is a weapon of war. So he highly doubts that this is the actual statistic. During that era when they're still talking about that over and over again, there was I heard of an incident where a woman or a female college student saw this guy who reminded her of her boyfriend who raped her, and so she got him expelled from school, got his scholarship revoked, his tuition refund, all that stuff. She got him expelled and almost thrown in jail or something like that. I forgot, but she just saw that guy, and the guy is having to remind her. Either she reminded her of a boyfriend, or she had a dream of a guy who looked like that guy who raped her in the dream. I forgot which one it was, but that guy suffered the consequences in a big way for that reason. Let's see here. That's it. Okay, that's it. Let's see here. Jelly Goblin is only saying there's no oppression anywhere. That is a false frame. No, there's no. I'm not saying there's no oppression anywhere. I'm saying their views of oppression are just they're way overblown. These people are saying that these people literally think that they can go out down the street and they want like they argue for men to be like put in prison or whatever, so that there'll be no more crime or something. Like they literally think that if they walk down the street, they have 100% chance of being assaulted. Oppression, it's not as bad as they think there is. Not nearly. I think we think we live under a literal fascist dictatorship. Let's see here. Okay, let's go ahead and continue.
Because, it's talking about violence against minorities. Imagine that. That's what Kickstarter culminated as their go-to theme. You can see this person too, railing on white. So again, as they rail on white more and more, you can tell what kind of mindset they have. Like I said, while they're working there, they state things like, as a person of color has to work harder to prove themselves to the mainstream. You have to work harder to prove yourself to us, It goes both ways. So if they don't like your project, they don't like the way that basically you don't hire the right folks or have the right mindset, or they just don't like you, period, bam, you were gone. They thought that they were too big to fail. They brought people like this in, going out of their way to gatekeep. There are dozens upon dozens of things that they've said about this stuff too. Yeah, and it impacted them just like everything else. They also had one other thing that impacted them too, unionization. See, they decided to...
Okay, we'll get into this one in a second. Rocket and Sinlings for the R99. Megas XLR, Guy Fieri and James Franco fight kaiju. Yeah, that's it. So that is it, right? If I remember correctly, I think people are saying yes. That's it. That was a good show. That was a good show. I actually forgot what it was called. So thank you very much for reminding me. Appreciate that. Johan Camila's quotes made me laugh so hard I almost swallowed my drink wrong. Yeah, it's they're pretty ridiculous when you read these things. But going back to how they think oppression actually exists. How major it actually exists. I remember when what's her name? That comedian, that one comedian, Sarah Silverman. She walked out and said, "Oh look, there's Nazis everywhere," because she found a quote unquote swastika drawn on the street. It turned out to be a construction symbol, not a swastika. They think Nazis are literally everywhere. So while there might be oppression existing in the world, it's not where they're living. It's not nearly as bad as they're painting it out to be. Not nearly as bad. I think they judging from how they speak anyway. Judging from how they speak, solely how they speak and how they act, they literally think that at least going by how they speak, they think that we're living under a literal Nazi regime, even though taking advantage of the fact that we have free speech and that stuff. And I'm pretty sure if they actually did believe that we're living in a Nazi regime, that they would not be as vocal as they are, because these people are ultimately cowards, and they would not be vocal in an environment. I'm pretty sure they would not be nearly as vocal or vocal at all in an environment where speaking out would actually get you punished severely or even killed. These people these are the kind of people who would do something quote unquote brave in a place where they know they won't receive any consequences. Like David Bowie would wear a dress where he could get punched or killed. These people wear dresses where people would rush to the defense in an instant if someone even looked at them the wrong way for wearing a dress in public as a man or something.
To unionize. Under the book, always punch. Yeah, always punch indeed. They tell you about this in Slate.com. Slate.com has the same spin that they do, and I want you to listen to just a little bit of this to give you a feel how this place is presenting itself and what happened behind the scenes. So after years of awkward growing pains, things at Kickstarter seemed to finally be settling down by the summer of 2018. Then last August, 1 year after the deadly WS rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, the far-right news site Breitbart, that rhymes very well there, published a story accusing Kickstarter of violating its own terms of service, which bars projects that encourage violence by approving a fundraiser for a comic book called Always Punch. The title refers to an incident in which WN, I'm going to shorten everything like that, leader Richard Spencer was clocked in the face during a television interview. The comic book creators described the project project on Kickstarter as a 44-page comic book anthology about our country's battle against ism. Join the fight with this satirical graphic novel. Now remember in this, that book, it actually called certain types of voters, the N to the A to the Z to the I's, you needed to punch. It actually goes out of its way to tell people how to punch. It encourages violence. If you're going to ban something because a superhero beats up MS-13, yeah, you see the problem there, right? So what happens over the next 7 days, right?
So if you weren't here yesterday, if we weren't able to catch a stream from yesterday, we went over all of this. If you want to go see the timeline, if you want to go to story time from yesterday, you can see what happened. But just a quick rundown: the MS-13 thing that Tug just mentioned. There's a guy named Mike S. Miller. He is a Christian conservative, right-wing Christian conservative, and he made a book called Lone Star, a comic book called Lone Star. And in his comic book, he was approved for Kickstarter. He got onto Kickstarter, regardless of everyone saying don't do it. And he hopped on the Kickstarter. He was approved, and then he put up a piece of art where his hero, his superhero guy, was punching a MS-13 gang member in the face. And they said, nope, can't have that. You can't have violence against minorities in your comic book. So they brought it down. Huge story. It went on Ben Shapiro. It was reported on Binding Into Comics, all this stuff. So it was pretty bad. But that was a big signal that they would that Kickstarter would be rejecting your projects based on politics and based on social justice guidelines.
The Kickstarter staff. After the Breitbart article, the project had to be reviewed by Kickstarter's Trust and Safety team, which audits whether disputed content violates the company's community guidelines.
Also, how 1984 does it sound when every time you hear the words Trust and Safety team? Trust and safety. Why do we need trust and safety teams everywhere now? We don't need them. You don't need them. Every time I hear trust and safety team, I hear gatekeeping social justice weirdos. Okay, that's they always say trust and safety team, and their only job is to make sure that your platform is adhering to social justice NPC doctrine. That's all it ever does. That's all I ever see it do. Let's see here. 1 second. Let's see. Adam Post, welcome, Adam Post. Welcome to the chat. Matt Wenger, welcome to the chat. Can we get some likes for your boy? Appreciate that, Adam. Appreciate that, Matt Wenger. Let's see. John Penn, and yet they allow Lady Death, Nudie, and Doug TenNapel on. Yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of strange, isn't it? Hello, Adam Post. Welcome, Adam Post.
How dare they keep her this long? How dare they?
How dare they? At least she's gone now. At least she's been let go.
They have all kinds of sexual content. I know because I always look for that everywhere in Walmart, on Kickstarter, wherever the supermarket. You should see me like in the vegetable section. It's not a pretty picture.
No, Legion's comics posts and all that stuff. So it's nothing to be had there.
So it's all depravity as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I do look at different things that work in publishing. That's actually what you're supposed to do when you publish. So if you have an idea and you want to publish your own comic, you think and you focus on your idea, whatever it is. But us independent publishers who've been doing this a long time that are focused on, hey, I want to publish comics, I want to pay my bills, I want to survive doing this. We always look at what works. So I've been looking at Kickstarter on and off for years. Back to one of the first big successes was a book called Sullivan Sluggers, which was kind of a monster zombie story that was a 100-page original graphic novel. Actually, it was 200 pages of original graphic novel written by Mark Smith. And it was like $100,000. It was like one of the big successes. And I got to know Mark. So, I'm looking at Kickstarter for a long time, and they do all sorts of wild content and adult content, and the sexy stuff. I have no idea why a business. This is what happens with the business. It goes along, it starts doing well, and then companies get just crazy with their money. You know, all of a sudden it's like, well, all right, yes, we have a successful comic book section, but is it socially responsible enough to people who are struggling with their identities? Like, that is not the question you're supposed to ask, right? The question is like, how do we become more of a fixture in the comic book industry? How do we forever change the comic book industry? Which, you know, maybe they did in a way, but they should have built on it instead of doing this, instead of bringing her in.
Yeah, and that's basically it. And her only job seems to be not how to make comics great or how to make comics better, how to improve the community she's working in, but the only question that she wants answered by the new projects coming in is, does this adhere to party doctrine, or does it not? Mein Führer.
Yeah,
that's it.
And the thing is, even in their, well, I like this super chat. Let's do this one.
Rocket saying thanks for 499. Appreciate that. And the best solution is to use non-human characters like the comic book Darby. It's greedy 1990s take on Land Before Time. Blood, sex, and dinosaurs, good stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, the 90s were pretty good. But they do allow. I'm pretty sure that Kickstarter would allow, even under Camila Zong, sexual content. It has to be the right ones, though. It has to be like it cannot be hetero sexual content.
You know what? When you're talking about before that really interesting super chat, I was watching the Crowdfunding Comics channel, which they changed it to something else now. Whatever. Steve Jeppy was on there, who's the owner of Diamond Comics, and he's been distributing comics for 35 years. And one of the people, somebody suggested, I think it was Billy Tucci, like in his very Billy Tucci way, he was like, "Hey, Steve, have you ever thought about maybe doing fulfillment for Crowdfunded Comics?" And meaning like, so, you know, you and I are doing Crowdfunded Comics, you know, so we have a lot of orders to ship. Why not have a distributor actually ship those orders? And the answer to the question was kind of like, well, yeah, you know, we would consider doing just about anything. But it was clear that like nobody at Diamond was really thinking about it and working on it. Nobody at Kickstarter contacted them, like Camilla or whatever, or anybody, to say like, hey, we actually sell a lot of comics now. So would you want to be a solution to our comic book publishers, you know, to distribute, you know, help them ship their comics? You know, would you want to do that? And maybe that just starts to build bridges where they could be in larger comic book store industry, you know, eventually after the campaign ships or something. And they don't put, like, nobody tries to do anything. But that would have been her thing for outreach. Like, why don't you actually help the creators? You know,
that would take work. And she's not really out here to help anybody.
Like, hardly any work. It would even have helped the propaganda initiative.
But hardly is still work. If they have to lift one finger, all these people want to do is get paid to tweet all day. That's all they want to do.
Right. The virus kills the body. That's its job. The virus attacks the host. It doesn't build bridges with the host.
Pretty much. That's all it wants. That's all they want to do. They want to kill the body. They want to feed off of it. That's why they're a virus. These people are parasites, and that's all they want to do. They just want to sit around. Did you notice that the one gold lining for her is that she negotiated a very generous severance package?
And recall rights. I had to look it up live when I was on Ethan. I had to look it up, Ethan's channel. I had to look it up live. Like, what is recall rights? Which is like, if they hire, she got 12 months of recall rights, 4 months of severance. Recall rights is if they hire someone else for that position for the next year, they're stuck bringing her silly ass back.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't think that's going to happen.
So I'm pretty sure that they unionized, and then she probably negotiated this whole severance package deal, and then she might have just allowed herself to be let go. That's why she's not kicking up that much of a fuss.
You know, if you look at, well, she kicked up a little fuss, but it's not like you could do what that girl did at Lion Forge, which is like,
oh yeah, they're
all racist. Like, you can't actually do that with companies that are like a real company that has resources that, you know, then you're not going to get your effing severance, you know, because part of a severance is a non-disparagement clause is very common, which means I can't see, you know, I work for you, you fire me, whatever. It's like, all right, we agree not to sue each other, and we agree that I'm not going to say bad stuff about you.
They need
And
to-
if you know,
they
if
need
you
to have a
notice, there's not.
non-disparagement. They need to have a non-disparagement clause in all in all contracts when they're hiring SW writers nowadays, where they can't. That would put Gail Simone in a pretty precarious position. If they had a non-disparagement in there, then she can't say all these people are racist or whatever for
Yeah,
doing
it's a real thing though. I'm aware of some, and I've seen some things pop up in the industry. I'm aware of three. I've seen some things pop up in the industry where the creator, and this is a more mainstream comic stuff, the creator starts talking a little bit, and then you just know that somebody picks up their lawyer. It's their phone call, calls their lawyer, just like, listen, tell this guy stop talking that way because he owes me $100,000 every time he does it. Remind him, and like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden it's like very quiet, very quiet.
Or
Yeah.
I mean non-disparagement and non-disclosure for people like Gail Simone, so they can't say anything. They can't say anything regarding like the business of DC or how how she got fired off her latest book or whatever for whatever reason, and she can't badmouth the people. She can't say anything. She can't badmouth them. That would put a big damper on how these social justice people and NPCs work on social media, because then they'll be facing legal consequences just for doing what they do on a normal day-to-day basis. Cancel culture would be stipped in the bud almost.
They really gave these people way too much power, and now the virus is just eating away at what's left of the body. It's grotesque.
Yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, they want empowerment. That's what they want, because they can't grow power on their own. That takes work and talent, and they can't really do that. That's not really their thing. It's not really in their wheelhouse. So they want to cry and scream and screech loud enough and long enough so that people, these big industries, say, "Okay, come on board. We'll give you power," and they do, and then they just take the power and they just run rampant with it like a tyrant.
It is the one good thing to get from it is like, if you're very committed to an idea and you actually push for it and you're not like, well, I don't know, what if this doesn't work out? But if you're really singularly focused on like, this is what I'm going to do, whether it's good or bad or whatever, you have a good chance of becoming either a hero or a supervillain. So, you should take a lesson from like this Kamala Zans and the Gail Simones, of people who are like, they're not especially fantastically skilled or anything like that, but they are single-minded in their desire to push their weird agendas, whatever it happens to be. So you too could be like Gail Simone, be successful, but do something good. Don't do something bad.
Exactly. Do something good with your do something good with your power. That's what they say they're trying to do. They always say they're trying to be good with their power, but they end up being tyrants. I guess they
You
get
got a
corrupt.
super chat. You super
ya.
chatted now.
Alex Halo, thank you for watching too. Appreciate that. You should show how much they got away with in Squid Girl. I think it's an anime you're talking about there. It's a
Is it Squid Girl or Squirrel Girl? Squid Girl, probably
Squid
some
Girl.
weird sex stuff.
Girl.
Yeah, I mean, that's like they do crazy stuff. The whole thing is, too, like, she's not involved in anything like that. It's all like, look, we need to pick out the next really successful whatever bicycle riding lesbian crazy whatever thing and feature that on the site. It's like, guess what? That doesn't make money. If you've ever, I don't know how, God knows who you are, Literature Devil. You're a special man, and you could be mysterious. Maybe you're an AI. We don't know. We've never seen you. I've never seen you, but we can always hope. But if 40% of people get laid off at a company, that's really freaking everybody. That's everybody. You could lay off 100% of the people at a company and be like, wait a minute, nobody works here anymore. But if you lay off like more than 10%, now you're really cutting into like the whole structure of the company. If you lay off 20%, 30%, 40%, this is like an investor saying, hey, listen, you're getting rid of everything that does not immediately generate revenue. I don't want to hear about lesbian bicyclists. I don't want to hear about social justice. I don't want to hear about, well, we're just going to hire these other people because they bring kind of like a cool culture, and this guy likes all these kinds of crazy coffees and stuff. It's a huge cut to cut 40%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are some of them are asking, when all this is going down, how come we're pushing this project that's making $4,000 and we're not even mentioning this project that's making $40,000 to $80,000? What's the deal here? What's going on?
Well, it's no accountability issue. It's just sort of like, look, we can't go in this direction anymore. We're going to be more of a software as a service and not try to direct editorial. This is the kind of conversation, because the thing is, like, you look at it and then you realize, like, well, this was a fucking indulgence, excuse the language, but this was an indulgence. We didn't need all of these people and all of this overhead. So now we have to get rid of it. Well, what are you going to do? Well, they have this stupid union. We're going to have to deal with the union. We're going to have to pay severance. It's a given. But if we take the hit, get rid of this monstrosity and just tell them, well, we're going in a different direction, rather than, cultivating the projects, since that's not actually generating revenue, we're going to get rid of that entire endeavor of attempting to cultivate products. And let's just be a software company, because that's the only thing that works at Kickstarter anyway. It's not like you're bringing in, an audience of people who are going to back more projects or buy more projects. So they'll do better managing by algorithm than they can by whatever, Freakazoid. Management by Freakazoid.
I think that's
how
how
right there.
We're sure that's how Indiegogo does it, doesn't it? That's how they do it by
yeah, I mean,
by
they
merit.
you have a rep in Indiegogo, don't you? Supposedly if you gross more than 20 grand or something, they're like assign you to somebody.
I don't know, actually. I might have gotten an email. Maybe I just disregarded.
Blew it off. You're like, I don't care who Charles is at Indiegogo. I made my money.
Like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy? Why is he interfering with me? Well, he may be able to do things for you. I don't know what things those are. Maybe acrobatics or something, but I'm clever, so I'll let you know. I broke 20,000 on College of the Dead thanks to the incredible support of Comicsgate people and awesome people like Literature Devil Chat. And I will let you know, because if we can get anything for us, for Comicsgate or whatever, I'm going to get it. I'm going after it. So I'll let you know and then report back, because I carry my weight, damn it.
That's good. That's always good to do. It's always good to do. It's always good to make money for yourself, make money for your friends, and this is support great projects instead of just based on politics.
Back Dr. Alpha.
Yeah, I think we're going to have that in a little bit, on like a few hours, I think.
Yeah. We're going to promote it on my channel. We're going to talk about, I'm going to learn everything I've always wanted to know. I learned about how many doctorates he has the other day, 36. And I think it's really cool. There's Buckaroo Banzai, I think, was like a doctor. My brother loved it because he was like a doctor and like a lawyer, I think, or like two doctor things. He was like two professions. It's like, this is so cool. I'm like, all right. My brother was later a doctor. I never saw Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Neither
But
have I. It's okay.
all right. Well, we'll make a day of it.
Let's see. Wizard the Board Time Lord says they are ashamed of making money. That's absolutely true. In fact, not only ashamed, they demonize you if you make money. So they can't. If you're in the social justice NPC camp, you are viewed as a bad guy for making money. This is why they had that. It's been a meme now in independent comics or crowdfunding comics that a crowdfunding comic run by an NPC weirdo will always have those graphs all over the place.
Yeah, of where the money is going. Like,
yeah.
I promise I'm not going to keep any profit from this.
Yeah, I'm promising that I will not in any way be making any sort of profit after this, because profit is capitalism, and capitalism is, of course, as you know, bad.
It's exploitation.
It's
horrible. But none of them ever give the money back. And it's not like Camilla said, I don't need no 4-month severance. Right.
Yeah, and we covered these. Sometimes we cover these bread tubers and stuff like that, who go into Star Wars and everything, that they think they know good storytelling or whatever. And they try to explain something they don't, and they go in and they say, of course they're all about communism. They're all about anti-capitalism. And then you go on to the stream and you're like, yeah, capitalism sucks. Thank you very much for the super chat. They take the $10 super chat. Yeah,
capitalism sucks. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah.
Capitalism. You're right. You're right, sir. Capitalism is the devil. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Awesome.
Barry Ben says, this is funny about Steve Jeppy too. Steve is 70 years old. Steve Jeppy. He is not technically savvy, yet he was on the live stream last night with the crowdfunding comics guys, and Steve is like, I see, because like they weren't really. I don't feel like they took full. They had a couple of good questions, but I don't think like they took full advantage of having Steve Jeppy available there, because he's very open with what he talks about. So Steve is like, well, I see this in the chat. I see this question. I see that question. And Steve's like pulling stuff out of the chat. I'm like, well, you go, Steve Jeppy. Steve's like, look, I'm happy to be here, but I'm going to effing run things because I'm effing Steve Jeppy. Barry Ben says, Adam, watch High School of the Dead. You will not be disappointed. I have seen High School of the Dead, and I thought it was a little weird. It was kind of weird. There were some cool scenes in it. Of course, there's a lot of sex in it. And sex is good, so I'm all for it.
In High School of the Dead? That sounds like it would be very awkward.
High School of the Dead, yeah, it's
and gross.
Yeah, you'll see it at some point. You'll like it. We'll watch it together after Buckaroo Banzai.
It's
Got a whole list.
Christopher Cole. Capitalism sucks. Said from a Starbucks on an iPad. Exactly.
Yeah, they don't understand that anything that they like is because of capitalism.
You're right, Lennon652. Thank you. Capitalism does suck. It's all about oppression. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. These people are fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic.
Maniacs. They're all maniacs, Liddy D. Maniacs.
Let's see what I think. Tug is about to be. Let's watch Tug's video for a little bit more. Then I have a question to pose to you after this.
All right, dig if you will the picture.
Guidelines, or is making others users unsafe because it was satirical. Always Punch may have not been a clear-cut case. No.
That was the thing, wasn't it? That when I think EVS, your boy Zach, and Mike S. Miller, they got the same rejection letter from Kickstarter saying that we're trying to cultivate a safe culture or inclusive culture, and implying that their projects kind of dampened the safety that the users have the users felt.
I believe after your boy Zach was rejected from Kickstarter, Ethan didn't even bother with Kickstarter. He's like, all right, fine, we'll do Indiegogo and we'll just beat them, which is he's so great with competition and just focusing on marketing and promotion. But yeah, I think he just went his own way. Mike Miller went there for another print run to raise some cash, and completely unnecessarily, even though he knew that he's got MS-13 in there, and he knows that Democrats feel, not all Democrats, but Democrat politicians feel like, hey, there's nothing wrong with MS-13, don't single them out. But
the best folks,
yeah, the best of us. Yeah. So he showed his whole comic, and that's not necessary for Kickstarter. So it's like maybe he was proud of it, or he wanted to throw it in their face, whatever he was doing. And they rejected him because MS-13 was being marginalized in the comic. Now, I've never read his comic.
This poor gang members.
He has this whole thing with trolling, nonstop attacking people with trolling stuff like nonstop. Now, I don't know if it's because he feels like he's constantly under attack, but what he does, I don't know what he's doing, but I haven't read it. But, if you looked at it, maybe they were being demonized, more than you would demonize other people. I have no idea. I trust Mike as much as I trust Kickstarter. But now with Camilla gone, he could try it again.
You might trust Kickstarter more than you trust Mike Miller.
I do trust Kickstarter more than I trust Mike Miller. I would just, if I was him, I would just submit it again. Like, they don't have it. They cut 40% of their people.
They're looking for people. They're looking for projects. They're desperate. They're hungry.
Yeah, they're looking for projects.
And see, Geeky Vicky, have you seen Yellow Flash's video on DC and 5G? I actually have it in the lineup here. I think we might enjoy going over that after this. I think we're doing Tug's video for now because that's basically all I wanted to show. That if I remember correctly, they sent like a letter when they rejected Mike S. Miller or something like that, where they said,
yeah, they sent a letter. It was because of the marginalized groups or something like that. Yeah. He got a rejection email for it.
I think
don't like in publishing, in life, whatever. Don't be lazy, but don't do more than you have to when it comes to an approval. Because the more, like when someone's like, just like, all right, yes or no, be like, okay, yes, and be like, all right, fine. Then you're done. Walk away. Go on to the next step. Don't give them any ammunition to criticize or whatever you're going to be doing. So, and also he knows, I mean, everyone knows that there was some weird stuff going on with the president and MS-13 and other political groups. If you're featuring MS-13, like, how much effort it would have been for him to not mention MS-13 in the comic because he was reprinting anyway. If he would have delivered it, he was reprinting anyway. So to change the lettering, if that's what it would have taken, like, don't offend the censors. If you want to make money and F them or whatever, fine. But they are gatekeepers at that time. So you got to do whatever it takes to survive. But yeah, that was just. I remember asking him, "Why did you do that?" And he and I were still, I guess, responding on Twitter at that point. He's like, didn't even think of that. I'm like, well, come on, man. You got to think.
A quick Kickstarter was woke. You can't have a superhero oppressing some innocent gang members. That's just ridiculous.
That would be a good video. Kickstarter went woke, got broke. There you
They
go.
did.
I have a whole series of those.
They just cut 40% of the people.
Do you know Patreon also had massive layoffs?
Oh yeah, because they went woke also. They started.
Yeah, they're so stupid, attacking creators. Like, listen, all creators want to do is send you their money. That's all we want to do is use your silly platform, which we're uploading all the content to anyway, and sending customers there. That's all we're asking to do. So stop attacking creators. Stop trying to weed people out.
There was a big exodus from Patreon because Patreon is worse than the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter situation, because Kickstarter, you say, okay, I'm going to start a project on Kickstarter. Okay, got rejected. Whatever, I can go to Indiegogo. Patreon is different because you set up your whole income on that. You can I remember Sargon of Akkad. It's kind of started with him. He was making like over $10,000 a month from Patreon, and then suddenly they didn't like something he said on the internet. His entire income is gone in a split second.
You know what? There was a weird thing, I think. I don't know a lot about that story, but I thought I had heard too that like MasterCard and Visa were the ones that control the payments was actually the leverage point that was hitting Patreon. And then Patreon was just like, I don't know. We don't want to piss these guys off. Like, what should we do? What should we do? It's like, well, that's a problem.
These guys are political. These guys are bigots. So we as Stripe, we're not going to take payments from these guys. So either get rid of these people, or we're not going to allow you to do processing. The same thing happened with the Subscribestar. I don't know what happened to them, but I think
they got them too.
Yeah, they tried to pressure them because Sargon immediately moved to a Subscribestar, and they put the pressure on them. But the Subscribestar did not bend the knee.
Oh, good.
They went ahead and looked for other processing
good
avenues.
Good.
Let's see here. Rocket and St. Linux for the R99. Gather clout for revolution. That will never come. I think that's what the BreadTuber or whatever the people are doing. Yeah, go on. Yeah, spurn on the revolution that we know will never come. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Capitalism is sucks. Thank you for the super chat. Down with capitalism. Thank you for the super chat. Corporatism is oppression. Thank you for super chat.
Oh, $40, $100 super chat. Thanks for the super chat. Capitalism sucks. Yeah.
Capitalism is horrible. We need to all go to communism. Thank you for the super chat. That's what they all do.
Well, you know what? I just realized I got monetized. Your stream is going to be the first stream that I want to monetize stream for because I haven't got around to planning for anything. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
KH, thank you much too. Appreciate that. Good morning. Good morning, KH. Welcome to the stream. Welcome.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see here. After 702. In the mind of the social justice crazies, minorities are dying because heroes actually represent classical virtues and ethics. Yeah, they don't like classical virtues, and they definitely don't like classical ethics. Because classical ethics would make them the bad guys. Cage, which is 5, appreciate that. Patreon turns stupid when they hunt down art creators who does a loot. Oh yeah, that's right. They did do that, didn't they? Didn't they ban all of anime because they deemed all anime as predatory? Where did all the freedom of expression go to? That's what usually happened. That's what Patreon started off as. When YouTube started demonetizing people, when they started pounding on people, pounding on creators for expressing themselves. Patreon opened themselves up, and it's where Patreon it's where creators went to actually get an income when YouTube would demonetize them or demonize them. So they say, okay, so YouTube has demonetized all my videos. I'm going to go to Patreon. If you want to support my channel, go to my Patreon and support me there. And that's where a lot of artists went. And then over time, it got more popular. Social justice warriors infected it. And now they're getting rid of all the people they're getting rid of all the same people who were chased away by YouTube in the first place. And anime is something they really want to control, and it's really difficult for them to control it because it's coming from Japan, and Japan is not woke one bit. Japan is very conservative as a whole, so they can't really grasp these things like they can easily do in like Europe or whatever. There's no the progressive mindset has not taken control over there In Japan, in fact, if you try to go the progressive route, you try to go to the ultra feminist route, they will just laugh at you. So the Japanese know what to do with the ultra feminists. They know to just laugh at them and ignore them and treat them like the joke that they are. So where's the freedom of expression gone to? Where the usually the freedom of expression and the whole we're going to do this, we're going to take a stand against oppression thing, or we're going to take a stand against censorship thing, it goes away as soon as money is involved. So as soon as the woke people with all the big daddy's checks and everything come in, suddenly they control everything. They control everything. So like I said, it was even worse with Patreon because people were depending on that place. It's essentially an alternative route to an income. So when it was realized that because of what you say on the internet might just lose you your entire income that you've been depending on for maybe months or even years, can just instantly be going away because you said something someone didn't like on the internet, or you made a video someone didn't like, or you made artwork that someone didn't like. You made anime artwork, therefore Patreon will be revoking your entire income. People didn't like that, so that's why there's this huge exodus. The most notable people who left were Jordan Peterson, who was actually getting like over $100,000 a month from Patreon. Samuel Harris, who was getting, I think, roughly around the same from Patreon. They left because that's not good. Because they're controversial people, so they know that if Patreon is going to take away their income, if they're going to lose their Patreon income, it might as well be on their terms. So where the expression go to, it went away when they got popular, I guess.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson was going to launch his own competing Patreon site, and I'd never heard about that again.
I think it's called ThinkSpot. It actually did launch.
Did it?
Recently, it was in a testing period for a while.
Oh, fantastic!
I think it did launch. I think it did. They keep sending me emails, so I think.
It must have. He's done some really fantastic speeches. He's very knowledgeable. It's great to hear someone speak who has a teaching background, because they're just so concerned and considerate at the same time that they're speaking. So they're really trying to. I want you to. It's important to me that you know this. It's like, all right, great. What do you have to say? I want to hear it. I tend to hire writers to work with, to collaborate with, who wound up being professors also. Professor Geek and the writer I work with for College of the Dead. And I love it. I love working with those guys. They're so patient and so easy to work with.
Now, speaking of Professor Geek, I recently covered a video on Smudcast, the other people I stream with, called it's another weirdo and who makes no arguments. He covered me before too. The same guy. We call him Lava Chan. He covered my video, made no arguments. This ad hominem attack after ad hominem attack, no points, no substance.
Wait, Professor Geek did that to you?
No, this new guy. This Lava Chan guy.
Michael's a really nice guy.
Yeah, but speaking of Professor Geek, this Lava Chan guy really has it in for Professor Geek, because he just kept railing on Professor Geek over and over again in that video. And
it's like, of all the people to pick out, like Professor Geek.
Yeah,
he doesn't even have an evil laugh.
You can hear. Yeah, exactly. You can hear my surprise as he keeps bringing up Professor Geek during that stream, because like, what did Professor Geek do to this guy? Because the
one thing that Professor Geek is passionate about, he's passionate about a lot of things, but one thing he's passionate about that might be controversial is like what they've done to Wonder Woman, and what they've done to DC Comics. And he's like, really doesn't like Dan DiDio. But it's almost like he has this thing where it's like, he's never going to go shoot anybody or anything like that. His take is just like, it's really terrible what you've done to Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman, has this normal feminine energy. And, and then he talks about the history of Wonder Woman. He's so incredibly, coherent and knowledgeable and makes such great arguments. But I would assume it's like SJWs that don't like him. I don't, because he's not a fan of that either. He's just he's really great. He's great to stream with. I'd love to hear the two of you guys stream together. I think you guys have a lot of fun.
And people keep telling me I should stream with him. I guess that we never had a chance or whatever. But I spoke to him before, I think on Twitter or something, but nothing ever came up with it. Let's see, Warzord, the Board Time Lord, the LDR. There's still plans for 3 Doctors crossover. Not as of right now, because that includes that has to include Von Klaus, which is the guy who runs Monster MD. But
yeah,
there is a crossover plan for Dr. Alpha, Doc Salem, and Six Gun Gorilla. That one's actually in production, and there's cover for it and everything. There's a cover for it and everything. And see here, KH and Richard too. Appreciate that. I am only surfing Pixiv and Subscribestar for art. Yeah, because Patreon, I think, exiled all of anime artists because they deemed all anime art as pedophilia.
Oh wow!
So
Wow.
I think that's because they hate anime, like the social justice people. They hate anime because they can't control it. They want to. They're desperate to, and they are having some successes in some parts of it.
Mm.
But it's very difficult to control things from Japan because one, it's another country, and two, Japanese culture is very conservative. Like they're very conservative with it, very conservative. And so, I mean, if people try to be fundamentalist feminist over there, they try to be a crazy feminist over there, they just laugh at you. They do what they should do over here, over there, and just laugh at these weirdo feminists.
Yeah, mockery like that laughing in people's faces. That is the way to drive people away for sure. That's like, okay, we can't mess with this guy. He's laughing at us.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much all of Japan. That's how they act towards these feminists. All of Japan do that. So if they tried to say, everything is sexism, raindrops are sexist or whatever, or air conditioning.
Raindrops are sexist.
Yeah, or the actual one that actually came out was the raindrop, which is an AC is sexist, like air conditioning sexist. Then that's what
I always thought it
out.
was sexy, but
yeah, they literally think that air conditioning is sexist. So that's a literal.
That's just silly.
And people took it seriously. People took it seriously, and but they don't take it seriously over there in Japan. Over there in Japan, you try that stuff, they just laugh at you.
Good.
They just mock you.
Good.
Horrendously.
They should do that.
But yeah, that's where we are. Kickstarter decided to unionize so that always punch Nazis can stay up and be funded. So they basically unionize so they can disregard their hypocrisy and just keep.
I like at the end of the article where I think it's in this article where she makes this statement, Camilla. Hey, we were successful. We were the first union in a software tech company. It's like very successful. Goodbye.
What a wonderful thing to happen. And then soon after, a couple of months later, she is unemployed.
Yeah.
She's finding herself unemployed. # pencils down.
Well, she should try to self-publish. Let's see how well she does. Maybe she'll publish on Indiegogo.
Yeah, maybe end up like Ron Mars. How successful that
We're always looking for content to mock. So yes, we will mock her out of existence. All those rejection letters, all those terrible attitude and bad vibes that she created, all the creators that she discouraged, now she can know what it feels like.
Let's see, Lucky Jinx. We should all be like Milo Yiannopoulos when it comes to feminism. Absolutely. This is radical feminism. Just laugh at it, mock it. And the biggest thing they hate is not being taken seriously.
Yeah,
they need to be taken seriously for them to have power. If all you do is laugh at them, they can't have the power. Tyrants hate being the butt of the joke.
Yeah. If you laugh at them, they lose their power. But then again, they also may kill you. I don't know what they're up to. So
they might.
They're crazy.
The only thing I'm pretty much convinced the only thing keeping them from actually going on murder rampages is the law. And they don't want to take personal responsibility. So if they take if they were able to get away with it, they would totally go away.
Oh yeah, there'd be nothing. If they could get away with it.
Like when COVID came out, I heard I saw so many of these weirdos come out and say, I'm going to get infected with COVID-19, and I'm going to go to a Trump rally, infect all the Trump voters. They want to conduct biological warfare because they can get away with that. They can get away with being infected, going to a rally and getting a bunch of people sick. They could totally get away with that. So I could see them actually doing something like that. And they said that on Twitter. Like, if I come down with COVID-19, I'm going to go to a Trump rally. I'm going to get everyone sick. Those Trump voters are all Nazis. They're all bad guys.
They're maniacs. Maniacs.
So okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to pose this question to you, Adam Post.
All right.
I have my own thoughts on this one. Let's see what you think about this one. Get it up here. Get up here. So, why is it that cosplayers can make comic accurate costumes, but multi-million-dollar productions cannot? And there's some cosplaying going on here, cosplays, and the Joker cosplay, and that's a really good one. It's a really good one. But then you see what you see in the movies, and they look nothing like the show. They look nothing like the comic book. And it's possible because these cosplayers who don't have access to $1 million, at least not overwhelmingly, they produce superior looking
Yeah,
costumes.
that's cool.
They
Yeah.
just point out that these guys
I-
point out a very good point here. These are from porn parodies. It's a porn parody costume. Porn parody costume.
Wow.
Porn parody costume.
Wow.
So why is it that these multi-million-dollar productions are worse at costume design than porn parodies?
That is a damn good question. They're obviously not using the right people to make these things, but that's, you'd almost think it would have to be deliberate.
I think, and my assertion is that cosplayers are the people who put these costumes together are actual fans of the thing that they're cosplaying, while the people who are putting together these multi-million-dollar productions are not fans and actively hate you. So I'm pretty sure that's the
They hate you. Well, there's some there are really like great talented people that work on, costumes and creative effects and things like that. But the truth thing is like, yeah, if you don't know Batman, the other problem I think is like, so if they're getting input, who are they getting input from when they're making the costume? If you're working for a major studio, you're getting input from maybe the writer of the screenplay, maybe a few of the production executives, like, well, we want it more like this, but not too much like that. And, when you're doing cosplay, it's like, it's just all for the celebration of the character. There are no other considerations. Even for porn, I guess. I mean, with porn, those guys are smart. They know how to make money. So they're like, well, these people are great at cosplay. We're just going to get those people, have them execute, or they borrow existing cosplay, costumes, and just put them to work.
I think one thing that might be the difference here is that one thing that the mainstream industry refuses to accept or acknowledge and has outright consciously forgotten that the porn industry seems to have embraced fully is that attractive looking characters sell more products.
Mm-hmm.
And the mainstream media is outright determined, and they told us this on multiple occasions, that they're outright determined to make their characters look as unappealing and as ugly as possible.
Right, averting the male gaze in the Harley Quinn movie, which is so badly executed that's not even the title, right? And the example I always like to bring up that I just can't even believe, I can never believe this, but it's true. The director of Charlie's Angels was one of the Charlie's Angels characters saying, oh, well, girls just come to work dressed any way you're comfortable. Like no consideration for wardrobe. Now they had a lot of other problems, but some of those kind of things can be explained away. The male gaze thing it's on that level of like, well, we don't want you to look good. But in addition, just put on whatever pajamas or whatever you feel like wearing, which is why their costuming, it looks ridiculous. I didn't watch the movie Charlie's Angels. Just any of the production promotional images I saw were just terrible. A lot of this stuff has become really unwatchable. When it's terrible, like how do you watch it?
Yeah, like I said before many times, my new rule is that if it looks like it's going to be 1% woke or more than 1% woke, I'm not going to deal with it. There's plenty of stuff out there I can go to that isn't woke at all. That's really, really well written and good back when meritocracy was in place and you had to actually be good to sell your product. I can go back over there and consume that stuff. I don't need this new stuff.
And when we want to talk about things, like it's covered pretty well. All these things are covered. It's like, all right, well, like the Kickstarter story, we didn't have to go over and we're doing Tug's video. We didn't even have to go over and write an article or interview Camilla Zahn for the video.
Yeah, it's really convenient.
Even though she's got spare time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What do you think you accomplished at Kickstarter?
I'm not really
Well, I was able to create a union. Like, weren't you there to bring in business? You never once called Steve Jeppy, who gives his phone number out like to anyone who asks for it on the street, pretty much. His email, he just keeps giving out his email. Like, you never thought to contact Diamond Comic Distributors, who've been doing this the whole time, and think of like, well, maybe there's a way Kickstarter could have a relationship with Diamond that would be unique to Kickstarter, and they could cross-pollinate projects and stuff. Like, no, that's too serious. But I don't know if she even has a business background or cares about that.
I don't think doesn't even matter. She was at DC. I know that much. But
right. Whoever hired her, shame on you.
It's just all about politics, I think. Who cares if you're qualified? You're on board because you have the right politics. But another thing about that is that even if you even if you go by that rule, that's it's 1% woke. Don't watch it. All they're doing now is what remaking things over and over again. This is what new Charlie's Angels, new Harley Quinn movie, just another Harley Quinn movie that they made horrible. New Terminator, new Matrix. It's just the same stuff rehashed again, but more woke, I guess.
More poisoned.
Yeah. With more maniacal, you could say.
More maniacal, exactly. Put the maniacal factor in there. Get it sick and crazy. Crazy it up, but not in a good way.
QC Warlord, thank you much for the 5. Appreciate that. You can call Japan conservatist with how they consider violence, sexuality, and some other mature theme okay for rather young audience rather than in the U.S. Really. Let's see here. You can call Japan conservatist with how they consider violence, sexuality,
and mature
themes okay for rather young audience than in the U.S. Really.
So in other words, they're not so conservative if they have violence and sexuality and mature themes.
Well, that's the thing about that's what some people have conjecture over in Japan, is that they have a lot of expression in their media, so they're allowed to get it out. They're allowed to get out all their pent up feelings and aggressions and all that stuff in the media, so that because Japan's rate of crime is like legendarily low, as far as I've read. It's very low.
Yeah.
And so some people have connected a correlation, or at least conjectured a correlation between how violent and sexual the media is, and how low the crime rate is. And but their ideas on their conservative ideas are along lines of they're very traditionalist, right? That it's not really so much on the fact that they're sexual and violently conservative. They're really into that stuff, but they're really feeling that part, and they have been for a long time. But it's the ideas of the isolationist kind of idea. They're very they like to be homogenous. They like they're very into tradition, traditional family values, that sort of thing. On that end, they are very conservative.
Well, they also have a very homogenous culture. So a lot of the same kind of people living the same kind of way. America's a melting pot, with multiple cultures and all kinds of influences. And when people tend to see the things the same way, you're going to have less conflict, right? I mean, because people kind of know what's expected and they just sort of do it. That's just kind of the way it is they have a homogenous culture, so they have a lot less chaos.
Yeah, in fact, there's one of the most acclaimed anime series in the U.S. has always been Death Note, ever since it made its debut. And one thing that it's people tend to agree that's very well written. It's one of the most it's a very interesting show. Tug loves it, and his daughter loves it.
Oh, cool.
Well, one of the things that people always laugh at, even the hardcore fans, is the fact that there's a whole plot line revolving around how there's a U.S. people from the U.S. FBI agents coming to Japan to like blend in with the populace to follow certain people around, which is hilarious because they're all white guys trying to blend in in Japan that's like 99% culturally homogenous.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Racially homogenous. So in the anime it works because they draw everyone like white guys anyway.
Looks like the same, yeah.
Yeah, but in reality, it really wouldn't work because there's a bunch of like tall white guys walking around in Japan trying to be sneaky.
Yeah, it's like me trying to fit in on channels when I have my video on and other people don't. It's like
exactly
you're going to see me. I mean, it really.
I
can't hide this way. I could do this. That works a little bit better.
Yeah, but
then it looks like I'm some girl, right?
Yeah,
just like some girl
getting eaten alive.
I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. What's happening? All right.
No, I guess all of those zombies that were once your friends. And see,
people are trying to draw comics while they're listening to us, and here I am screaming like a woman. literally screaming like a woman.
And see, Criminal Imagination, thank you for the 5. No laws for a day, a purge IRL. The purge, I remember that. Well, most of the killing came from NPCs. What a shock! Yeah, I bet you if they actually had implemented a purge from the movie, it'd be all these NPCs going around trying to kill all their political opponents. Pretty sure that's what it would be.
Kickstarter was the purge. That was a purge. Fire 40% of the people. 40%? Like, could you imagine you go to an office and there's like 200 people working there, and then all of a sudden there's only 120? It's like, wow, what happened to these people? Like, well, we got rid of all of them because they were completely non-productive.
I got rid of everyone. That's
It had to
40% of a lot
just
of
be
people to like,
all of their content curation efforts, where it's just like, well, we can bring in a lot more projects if we interact with creators and we do outreach. Like, no, you can't. And here's the proof. And that's the way it works. Unless you're going to be doing things like, all right, offline married to online. Like, you know, Kickstarter is crowdfunded comics. Well, how are comics normally made? Like, well, there you go. So reach out, or even like with their electronics projects, like, all right, there are other electronics, the big thing on Kickstarter, other electronics manufacturers or whatever the heck people are doing with little crazy inventions and stuff. Are they on Kickstarter? For all the ones that are on Kickstarter, have those people reach out. And then all you have to do is explain how the platform works. You know, Steve Jeppy, I'm sure, he's a smart guy. He has a sense of how Kickstarter works, but he doesn't exactly know how it works. So you don't need to know about comics. You just need to target, like, what are successful categories? All right, comics is kind of successful. Electronics is successful. Fashion is successful. Whatever they are, they have the numbers. I don't. And then you contact the offline people as a really pleasant, high-quality salesperson that doesn't have to intimately know anything. All they have to know is how to explain the platform. Like, we could triple Kickstarter's business in the space of a few months. Give us that 40%.
because I think the amount of business they lost was 35%, and then they had to let go of 40% of their.
That's funny.
staff.
No, we would build up Indiegogo if anything else. If anything, we're not going to build up those yo-yos.
Yeah, go back to Indiegogo. Indiegogo has never had that problem. It's always been very fair, very
Just
very,
doing business. They're just doing business. That's all we're looking for.
They're in there to make money. They're in there to promote people, promote projects, not dictate what you should and how you should think and how you should live your life. I see Zofrat says to this question, because porn has a future and DC and Marvel hasn't.
Exactly.
And that nice little custom emoji there. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Awesome. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good description of what's going on. That maybe that's why. And that's why. Because, porn has a future. Not really so much on the DC and Marvel side. But yeah, so this looks way better than a lot of the things I've
That's
seen.
really good. He looks like he walked out of real life. I mean, the guy's that's a fantastic costume.
It's like the real life Joker.
You know what? What they get too is they get tons of feedback from fans, and then they get they're competing. You can imagine, like, you're making a Joker costume. There's going to be like another 50 or 100 people wearing a Joker costume. So you're kind of competing with the other Jokers as well. Like, that's some high end competition. Like, that's really trying to do a fantastic job. That's what you get these guys doing. Because what inspiration to make this stuff. Really, really creative stuff.
And this one looks really good. It looks like an action figure.
Yeah, he does look like an action figure.
Battle damaged, and let's see here. So we got the Joker. There's another Batman. This one looks good, except I can tell that the eyes are kind of painted white, but it looks pretty good otherwise.
Yeah, I like it.
I could see this being. They always want to go like realistic or something like that. They always want to go. We're going to make him a real-looking Batman. No, sometimes we just want a fun Batman.
Yeah,
fun comic book Batman. We want the Adam West Batman. We want a Batman. And
I always like the Adam West Batman.
One with a blue cape and like a silk suit or something like that.
We saw a lot of us saw the comics, but a lot of people were introduced to Batman through the Adam West Batman.
Yeah, sometimes
and it was fun. You understood it was kind of goofy because it was comics, but it was fun.
He doesn't always have to be this dark, brooding hero. I mean, we like that sometimes, but sometimes we want a goofy.
Yeah, we want a fun Batman.
Yeah,
who slides down a pole and stuff like that.
It says chum and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the bat dance and the shark repellent.
I like the bat dance. Whether they're dropping like pebbles on his head, and you get 1,000 pebbles, it makes you go insane. And he's like, I defeated your methods by going over the times tables backwards.
All the ways they were trying to kill Batman, like all the creative ways.
Yeah, those are fantastic.
Joker's laugh. Is that Caesar? I forgot that guy's name.
Yeah, Caesar Romero.
Romero. Yeah, okay. I actually knew that, but it didn't sound right.
They allowed him to keep his mustache. but they just paint over his mustache. He didn't want to shave it, so they just painted it over his mustache with the white makeup.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and that's what kind of like the new Joker, like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. He kind of had that Cesar Romero look to him.
Interesting. Yeah, of course, I like the last Joker movie. That was pretty damn good.
That was really good. It was really, really good. And of course, all the weirdos who love the Last Jedi hate the Joker movie. I'm not surprised at all. No, it's not the.
They should have loved it because he was a maniac. He really was crazy. He
Yeah, he really was
played a
crazy.
great crazy character.
Maybe that's why they hate it. It was too close to home.
Yeah, too close to home. Like, yeah, this is you guys. This is how depraved you freaks are.
Yeah,
Maniacs.
they did blame us. It's like it's all you guys. It's a movie made for you guys, all the people who hate us, not us. It's not us. Let's see here. All right, let's go over this Yellow Flash video. The one where it's another victory for I guess what you could say our side.
All we do is win, 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 no matter.
Pretty much. Ever since this whole thing is come out, it's just been one victory after another. The Kickstarter is banning all other weirdos and maniacs and all that stuff. And
Yeah, they're not obviously not going to be replacing her anytime soon with anything else like that.
I hope not. But did you know about 5G? The 5G push. It looks like they might have canceled it. The 5G.
Good.
Push, it's going to be super woke. It was super duper woke. It's going to put Marvel to shame. How woke it was going to be.
Yeah, a whole reinvention of the characters with like whatever a new generation of weird, just ridiculous garbage. There's nothing else to really say about it. But I was wondering if like Dan DiDio was for that or if he was against that.
I don't know.
It's so weird. Like, yeah, so he's not a DC, but they really never announced why he left, which is just really weird.
I think I heard he got fired or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he did leave. I don't know if he was fired or he quit. It sounded like he was fired, kind of. He was there a long time. Like all of a sudden, he just wasn't there. It's like, well, what is AT&T is like really hardcore, really hardcore. Like like they sat down with Jim Lee and they're like, listen, Jim Lee, yeah, how you doing? Like Jim Lee, stay out of our way. We're not going to have a problem. We'll tell you what to do. You'll do it. Anything hard that needs to get done, like breaking exclusive contracts with Diamond or firing Dan DiDio or firing half your staff. Like, we're going to do all that. Like they just have these hardcore guys from finance from AT&T that just come down and lay down the law. It's like mafia controlled. It's Jim Lee's like, look, whatever. I'm just, I'm out of your way. You do your thing. It's like, all right, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure they weren't going to be cool with, you're going to launch this thing that's going to be provably destroying your company and costing us more money. I don't think so.
Realistically, probably just said, listen, nothing new right now. Ethan keeps saying, and I'm sure he knows because he probably wouldn't say if he didn't know, that they're going to get evaluated.
Everybody. So I have some good news.
Oops.
No, I was just saying that Ethan was saying that they're going to get evaluated at the end of the year. Yeah, AT&T is going to evaluate DC at the end of the year to see if they want to continue. So, I mean, it's realistic that they would get evaluated at the end of a year anyway. But they're not going to launch anything new in the middle of all that nonsense. So this supports what Ethan's theory is more, actually.
And that's good for them. It's good that they decided to not go with this route because I heard 5G was going to be so woke. It's going to turn like everyone different races and different sexes, different genders. They're going to have like an Eskimo, like I don't know, kind of like a.
Wenger yelled at me for saying that word.
Oh, yes.
But I think he was being funny, but you never know with my friend Wenger.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. Indigenous. I will say indigenous.
I don't know. I don't know. Then there's the whole orc thing.
Oh, yeah, the orc thing.
But you can't say orc with a hard R. He said, I'm like, what is a hard R? I don't know how to say this Southern stuff. I don't know what that is.
We have an orc emoji now. Orc emoji if in the chat. If
you do?
Membership.
Oh, yeah. Orc it up.
Orc emoji
it up.
in there.
I want a maniacs emoji.
But they're gonna have like Inuits and stuff. They're gonna have like a lane, maybe like a disabled Inuit Superman or something like that. So that's how
good.
That's how woke they were going to go.
It's about time.
And it's ridiculous, but it was going to be really, really over the top woke. Let's see, Aura Master DX. Because remember, LD Sonic killed Harley Quinn. That's what they were trying to go for. Like they thought they knew Harley Quinn was dying. Then the Birds of Prey was kind of dying, and they started demonizing the Sonic movie for some reason because they knew guys and men were going to like that movie. I guess they saw that as the man's movie coming out alongside the woman's, what they saw as the woman's movie. And we go orcs.
They're so freaking weird. They're so bizarre.
I got some orcs in the chat there. They
Orcs in the chat.
They go the sushi guy and Chekhov's antlers and sushi guy. Got some
Orcs
here.
represented in the chat.
Criminal Imagination orcs got the orc emojis going on. Zofrats orcs for Adam.
Yeah. Orcs for Adam is right. Put your orcs up.
Matthew Jim Nunes is it orc emoji there? Orc emoji. Awesome. Appreciate that. Looking fantastic with the custom emojis there. Look at all those orcs in the chat, like a horde. This is the horde amassing over there. Okay, so
That's great.
So let's see. Okay. Let's go ahead and check it out and see what Yellow Flash has to say. So apparently, according to what he's seen, 5G is no more. I'm not going to go with that horrible woke route anymore. I'll look. Let's see here. Midnight's Edge After Dark. Hello, Midnight's Edge After Dark. Welcome to the chat.
For the comic book industry, it does appear that a lot of the terrible ideas for the 5th generation reboot that DC was going to do with their comic book line is being walked back. This has kind of been getting reported on a little bit over the past couple of months. It does appear that they are listening and making these changes, and I think that that's great. It was a stupid idea. What is 5G? If you don't know, let me explain it to you real quick what they were going to do, because it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, we don't have complete details. A lot of this came from Bleeding Cool, and as much as I don't like Bleeding Cool or Rich Johnston, I have to give it to him that he does have people that come and tell him things, and a lot of the stuff that he breaks ends up coming true. He has sources. He's not a very good person, but he does have sources. I got to give him that. So he was reporting that what was going to happen was they were going to age up. Something was going to happen, and a lot of the big heroes were going to get aged up, and they were going to work with a new generation, like mentors or something. Basically, you were going to have...
And so, Criminal Imagination, thank you much for that too. Appreciate that. Movie about space hedgehogs intended for children. Someone should make that. Should make a. Actually, you know what? That may be a furry thing. So that might actually already exist, like a Star Wars space opera, Star Wars-esque space opera, but like a Sonic version of it, a hedgehog version, and it's made for chillins. Made for children. Because have you heard that before? The Space Wizards Intended for Children thing?
No.
It's played by this guy named he's a well-known villain of the Toxic Brood Society, and which is Mahler and all those people, which I apparently am part of. I'm a member. I've been named a member of the Toxic Brood also.
Okay.
The EFAPers, I guess.
Good.
But the thing is, I think his name is Patrick Willems or something like that. He is one of the strangest people on YouTube. He has a huge following, and he apparently a big fan of Star Wars. But when Last Jedi came out, and everyone started hating on the Last Jedi, he said, "You're making too much of a big deal about this movie. It is it's just a." He put up a picture of himself holding up a sign that says, "Star Wars is a movie about space wizards intended for children." You know, downplaying it, saying it's not all that important, saying it's feeding into that nihilistic view that all these people have, that nothing has any meaning, nothing has any importance. There's no real substance to really anything in life, which is kind of the main message of The Last Jedi to begin with. So yeah,
it's so weird. It's like then why are you guys so interested in changing it?
I don't know.
Using it?
I don't know, because when the Rise of Skywalker came out, he says he made a whole video explaining how it feels like he's breaking up with a girlfriend because he's breaking up with Star Wars, and he's wearing this shirt that says Star Wars is just a movie about space wars intended for children. And we're all saying, well, make up your mind. Which one is it? It cannot be both. You cannot make this big of a
maniacs.
Exactly, and you can't make up this big of a deal about a movie being bad because you didn't like that particular movie, which which in my opinion was better than Last Jedi still. and
Yeah.
say it's still a meaningless, empty movie. Like it's disposable media. Like disposable media, I think, is a more of a modern invention.
Even just the name 5G, because it's confused with the wireless technology, is just completely freaking stupid.
I think it's one to be hip and cool.
Yeah, it's just it
5G.
doesn't work like that. It's like, well, let's try to confuse you as to what this is. Like, all right,
Like-
that doesn't work.
Like fifth
It-
generation.
They should just call it the Maniac line. Maybe I should publish under the imprint Maniacs.
Yeah, Maniac Comics.
Maniac Comics, good name.
Yeah. Midnight Edge After Dark. How are you this morning, Literature Devil? I'm doing fantastic. Midnight Edge After Dark. Thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. Hope everyone. In fact, I hope everyone in the chat is enjoying the stream so far.
Even me?
And especially you.
Oh, thank you. It's very nice. You're very thoughtful.
Let's see here. No, let's see, Tyler Preston, Neela Fash giving Rich Johnson a compliment. Is the apocalypse happening already? Well, so many things are changing. Things are changing all the time here, chat. We got the SJWs losing power, actively losing power. You have the companies who have championed their weirdo politics this whole time without not questioning them, saying, "Hey, there's an opening here. Maybe we can get out from underneath their thumb." So things are happening all the time. We're living in a time of uncertainty, and it's mostly fantastic. And they're losing all this power. The NPCs are losing all this power. People are waking up to how awful these people were, and things are changing in a very noticeable, very significant way.
And Bleeding Cool does sometimes have information on things. Like people do call them and tell them stuff for whatever reason, his relationships. So
On the
he's saying
occasion,
he feels it's credible. So if he feels it's credible, then we think it's credible. Why not? We trust Yellow Flash.
yeah, and usually, I think it's from Jude Terror. Usually, we get from the good stuff from Bleeding Cool, but this time it's Rich Johnson, and he's pretty much like the Goebbels of the comic book industry.
His propaganda. What do you mean? I'm telling you propaganda is what I'm saying. In one of the chats, he was just like, "What do you mean we're saying propaganda?" Like, you know you're propaganda, you bad person, you.
Let's see, Ilaria, have you seen? I include you in my EFAP fan rant. One of us. No, no, I didn't. That sounds fantastic, though. Thunderfeet, thank you very much for the $4.99, the £4.99. Appreciate that. DC did a course correction for dumb fanboys. Yeah, they did. They did. They actually listened to us, chat. They finally listened to us.
Course correction to appeal to big dumb fanboys.
They made the course correction to appeal to us big dumb fanboys. They finally listened. And so actually, I don't actually think they listened. I think they really had no choice. It appearing that they listened to us is a mere coincidence, but I guess we could take credit. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Thunderfeet. Awesome.
It's good. But it really is great how your boy Zach and you and Yellow Flash and that Umbrella guy and Ethan, like you guys have actually a strong voice with, a lot of fans and people are very aware. They can pretend not to know, but they know. Everybody watches Ethan's show. It's true.
Oh yeah, he's the show to watch.
Yeah, Ethan can speak. Ethan will speak to people and be like, "Look, you're probably listening, so let me just tell you." I'm like, "That's cool. That really is cool." If they weren't listening, they will hear about it. There's no question about it. So he is speaking to them, and he just tells them. He lets them know. It's
My favorite part is when they don't know about his projects and stuff. Like, what is that? Is that that guy who makes Battletoads? Like, you know who he is. You know what he's
right. You know who he is. They all know who he is because
not fooling anyone.
People are talking. The success is there. People are talking. Yeah, that's why. He's had a big influence. He's had a bigger influence than he realizes. But what's great is he's just focused on produce the good comic, be excited about it, be passionate about what you're doing, do your best work, deliver for people, and spread the enthusiasm and bring in more people who are enthusiastic. He's really raised an army of us now, of people that are just inspired and passionate about what we're doing. It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really like it. It's a really good time we're living in right now.
Yep, we're just going to keep making it better.
It's a really bad time, but it's turning into a really good one.
Yeah, we're making it great. Speaking of which, I'll be right back 1 second.
Okay, Barry Ben. Now, can we see a review of Battle Angel Alita? Because without the movie adaptation, Sonic and Joker wouldn't have succeeded the way they did. It's possible. I think I might save something like that for my Subscribe Star. I think because I'm supposed to be doing private Sunday streams. So I think I start doing things like that on Subscribe Star, asking people on Subscribe Star what they would like to see. that sort of thing. I might be including members in that too. So channel members be able to get Subscribestar and access the same thing you could be able to access on Subscribestar. I haven't made a decision yet, but the Subscribestar members definitely we have access to these sort of streams, and I think I'm gonna start doing like reviews of things that people ask me to review, and I think it'll be a good idea. I get some other people involved. Might be fun.
We could do duets on there if you want.
Yeah, it should be good. Should be pretty good.
Rap battles, whatever people want, that's what they will get.
Into the race, he's changing the world.
Changing the world for the better. All right, I actually have to run. I apologize for that.
No problem.
I'm going to see you at 1:00 on my channel, AdamPostSpeaks.com, and we are going to go over literature, your project, Dr. Alpha, and the very exciting hardcover book, which I'm super psyched for. Which is a good. I'm allowed to say super psyched. Other people probably shouldn't say that, but I'm really excited for it. But I appreciate you letting me jump in and just kind of chill for a little bit. And absolutely, I'm going to continue to listen to the show, but duty is calling me in multiple directions, and I cannot not serve. Love you guys. Love the chat. I will see you guys later.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lady D.
All right, chat. All right. Just you and me again. It's you and me. We'll be fine though. We'll be fine. So, if anyone remembers this, let me show you what this is reference to. Real quick, chat. I'll see if we can find this video that it's referencing to. It's pretty funny because it happened with Ethan Van Sciver. He was on his stream, and he thought he was showing a video to his audience when he actually wasn't. He forgot to play it, and so his audience was just sitting there in silence, watching Ethan Van Sciver say nothing at all. And while the video he thought was playing wasn't being shown to his audience. And Kelsey Shannon, another artist, took that instance and made it kind of funny. Let's hear. And that's where changing the world comes from. Let's check it out, chat. Let's check it out. Let me see if we got this up here. Go ahead and full screen it. So right now, Ethan Sciver is thinking that his audience is watching a video that he's playing.
I'm changing the world.
There's some videos. It's just that one of that music in silence, but that was the big part of it. In the middle of it, out of nowhere. Judging by what we see here, it just looks like he's sitting there in creepy meditation. Out of nowhere, it says, "I'm changing the world." Like a psychopath with the music going on in the background. It's fantastic, fantastic. Let's see here. Lucky Jinx, entirely vengeful Santa or something. And Santa has been wronged one too many times. He's out for revenge now. He's out for revenge. Let's see. Let me pull this back up. Get the yellow flash back up here, and we'll cover the whole 5G incident. How suddenly they went from we're really going to launch 5G to kind of forgetting that it exists. So let's check it out.
John Kent replaced Superman, which could still happen, by the way. Brian Michael Bendis can do whatever he wants. They let him just run the show. I could go on and on about how much I can't stand Brian Michael Bendis on Superman. Those were my favorite. Action Comics and Superman under Rebirth were some of my favorite comics, and he just totally ruined it. And when he went to DC Comics, he ruined a lot of stuff. They gave him free reign on so much. He's already destroyed Tim Drake, Robin. Red Robin was a fine character. He got a hold of Tim Drake and named him Drake and gave him this weird green costume. He sucks now. Everything Brian Michael Bendis touches at DC Comics, he ruins. But anyway, John Kent was going to replace Superman, and then Wonder Woman was supposed to become like a non-binary character. Somebody that was born a guy was going to become Wonder Woman. I don't know if there was a lot of truth to that, but I remember reading that from a few different outlets. And then Luke Fox, the son of Lucius Fox, was going to be Batman. They were basically going to go all new, all different Marvel.
Chet, they're gonna make it. They're gonna turn Batman. They found a way to turn Superman black already, I think. And they're fine. I guess according to this, because Lucius Fox is black. So if they made they made the son of Lucius Fox Batman. Then they'll have a black Superman and a black Batman. That's what 5G was going to do. They're going to replace all the characters that you knew and loved with new woke versions of these characters. And you know they're not going to be well written. You know they're going to be all about race and how oppressed everything is, and complaining about this and that, and less about the crime. Like all the crime fighting will be happening off screen. They'll be about taking selfies and complaining about Republicans and all that stuff. So you know how that would go.
When they replaced all the legacy characters with a bunch of woke versions. They're basically going to do the same thing. This comes to a lot of the reasons why Dan Didio got fired. Apparently, it was over creative differences, right? That was one of the big rumors on why he got let go, and that's probably due to 5G. Scott Snyder was upset about it because he didn't want that nonsense touching his upcoming metal books that he's doing with Wonder Woman. And it looks like we have even more confirmation now that this is being walked back. So John Ridley, Luke Fox, Batman, 5G, no more. And here is the report according to Bleeding Cool. If I were John Ridley, I would begin to suspect that I was under some kind of a curse. Admittedly, I would have won an Oscar for writing the screenplay for 12 Years a Slave. But when I returned to my true love, writing comics, things seemed to fall apart. I got to revisit and finish my Wildstorm comic book the American way, but that was meant to be an appetizer for the main course. Former DC president Diane Nelson used an entire event, The Many Shades of Heroism, DC Comics through the African American lens, laid out at the newsroom on Martin Luther King Day, to announce John Ridley's The Other History of the DC Universe, also placed on the cover of Diamond Previews, solicited, but then disappeared. Amounts rumored of legal wrangling over another seemingly identical project that had been previously greenlit. However, its disappearance has not been addressed by DC.
One thing I want to point out here is that they made Superman black. They did a roundabout way. I think clashing universes together to make Superman black. Now they're going to have they invented like a Lucius Fox's son, and so that they can make Batman black. But how come they're turning everyone black? Why? Where's all Hispanic Batmans and Hispanic Supermans and stuff like that? Where are all these? I guess it always comes down to the fact that Hispanics are always forgotten until election time. So when it's November, I guess we'll get our Hispanic Batman or whatever. Now that they're handing these characters out, are we getting like a Hispanic Wonder Woman? No, because they never remember the Hispanics exist. The Hispanics are not the people that they are concerned with, I guess. So why couldn't they make Superman black and then Batman Hispanic? They made Bruce Wayne Chinese once, but no Hispanics anywhere. None to be seen. And see, Insult to the Ray, Signature 5, appreciate that. From Drake the Duelist, Robins have a long tradition of being murdered by those who are detached from reality. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And no one's more detached from reality than these NPC SJW weirdos.
By Ridley in the months, years since. But that was okay because John Ridley had an even higher profile gig lined up for the DC Comics. As Bleeding Cool reported, courtesy of publisher Dan Didio, he was to take over the Batman ongoing comic book with Batman number 100, relaunching it with a new number 1 to follow, and as part of the 5G relaunch, recasting the lead character from Bruce Wayne to Luke Fox, a new Batman working with an elderly Bruce Wayne.
Lucky Jinx, yeah, we're not important until an immigration issue comes up. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how it goes. Not important. Hispanics are not important to politically or to anyone who wants to be woke until it's election time or until it's a way to bring in the immigration crisis. Just because Hispanics are not all about immigration. In fact, most people I know who are Hispanic, which is quite a few, by the way, and most of the family members I know that are quite a few who are Hispanic, by the way, and quite a few who are even anti-Trump are against this free open border immigration stuff. Okay, they don't want it. They don't want it. So the illusion that they're trying to sell to you that all these Hispanic American people They want open borders. They're really into immigration and all that stuff. It's not true. Okay, all these Hispanic people in America, they don't want open borders. They don't. They like strong immigration policies. So don't buy this this nonsense that some people are trying to sell you. That it isn't the case. Okay. Even the most anti-Trump Hispanic that I know really likes the strong immigration policy. That's the one thing they'll give Trump is that he's really good on immigration. They like his immigration policies. They want stronger immigration policies. So it's really too bad for them. That's not true because it isn't. But so for some reason, every time it's a border issue, immigration issue, that's say Hispanics suddenly exist again, and it's being painted that poor Hispanics, they're all about they really want people crossing the border easily, which is not the case at all. I don't think.
With all the eyes on the industry upon him. What a stupid idea that would have been. So Batman Beyond, except it's not Terry now, it's Luke Fox. That's lazy. Okay, that's lazy.
Yeah, so not only did they replace, not only were they going to replace Bruce Wayne as Batman, but they're going to replace Terry McGinnis as Batman. They're going to just wipe out that legacy altogether and have a whole new one where Batman is now black. It's going to uproot the already established lore and legacy so that they can have their woke black Batman. That's how much they're going to change everything.
You already have that. You already have a Batman Beyond book. What is the point of this? You know? And the whole thing was, oh, well, you can still get this premium Bat book. Look, I would have been okay with being able to, I would like it if I could just read Batman and Superman, you know, and not have them cross over and have to read 300 other books.
Drake Duelist, Hispanics are often very quite Catholic. That's true. And that's pro-life. That's also true. It always struck me as weird as the left would try to bring them in. Yeah, they're not actually liberals or leftists, you might say, on the whole. But they're usually very conservative. Like, as far as I know, most Hispanics are very conservative in their beliefs. That they believe in like family values, all that stuff. However, they usually tend to vote Democrat based on finances. They really like the social safety nets and all that stuff. That's why they tend to vote Democrat quite often. Because of the the welfare, the safety nets, that sort of thing, the Medicare, that's a big issue, huge issue with Hispanics. So it's not really on policy on progressiveness or anything like that. Because if it was just on that, I'm pretty sure most Hispanics would vote Republican. But so from what I know, the main issue is the finances, the financial stuff, the social safety nets, that sort of thing. Well, yeah, that's all true. They tend to be Catholic. They tend to be conservative, in most sense of the word, and they tend to be pro-life. This happens to be the way, and they tend to be against loose immigration policies. This is a thing that it's just a fact. There's a bunch of them are against loose immigration policies. They want strong immigration.
It'd actually be cheaper for me, but this was a terrible idea. It's not what the industry needed. It was gonna be a complete disaster, and then you're crossing over into Marvel territory. So one of the big problems with Marvel is that they never capitalized on the fact that the movies were so popular. Imagine having the biggest properties in the world and not capitalizing on it. You know how successful those movies were. Endgame, the highest grossing movie of all time, didn't help the comic books sell any new issues at all. And there were times when you would go in, I just watched Iron Man. I'm going to go to the comic book shop. Hey, can I check out what's going on with Tony Stark? Can I have the latest issue of Iron Man?
Oh, you remember this, chat? Remember that's a big issue. Here, check this out.
You want to pump out more soy boys that look like Will Wheaton? This is the inevitable result of all of this. This is where we're going. This is why we fight so hard.
There you go, chat. This is why we fight so hard. This is the inevitable end of this is that they're not trying to sell comics. Because if they did, there would be Tony Stark in comic books. They would go from movie Tony Stark to comic book Tony Stark. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. It's all about pushing a propaganda, pushing a political piece. It's all about pushing political pieces. And that's it. That's basically where you have it. And I think there was one talk before that dictated over this. I went over this, and they went over that if they were smart, if they were actually in the business of being a business, then Marvel would have ridden the coattails of the movies. They would have ridden the coattails of the movies, absolutely, and they would have this capitalized on it. How? By having Steve Rogers be Captain America in the movie, and then building on that, and have Steve Rogers be Captain America in the comic book instead of being a Nazi, and then have Tony Stark being the character in the comic book instead of being a totally different character, aka Riri Williams. And the inevitable end of that is not they're not trying to make money. What they're trying to do, they're trying to convince you that they are in the right. They're trying to convince you that they are that you're a bad person if we don't listen to them. You're a bad person if you don't adhere to these politics. That if you don't like the fact that Tony Stark is not Tony Stark anymore. They don't like it. They don't like it, chat. They don't like it at all. But here's another video I'm going to show you really quick before you get back to the Yellow Flash one. It actually goes over all of this. So let's check it out. One second. Get up here, and here it is. This goes over it pretty well, I think. And guess up. Make sure it's full volume. Okay.
These are actors. These are people who could be doing something else, and they're on the big screen actually selling our characters. And we can't make it work because we're in the comic book industry going, well, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is pretty good as the Iron Man, but I think it'd be much better if we just killed him and just added a little teenage black girl with a bad attitude.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It's creators that did not capitalize on the greatest advertising push for comics in the history of anything. You had the biggest 20 run of movies ever made. It's unprecedented. And what did you do? When everybody in the world knew who Tony Stark was, who Iron Man was, and they went into a comic store, who was it? It was Riri Williams. When everybody in the world knew who fucking Hawkeye was for the first time in 60 years, it was a household name. Let me go in it. Where's Hawkeye? That's her over there. It's Kate Bishop. You fucking creators that did not capitalize. Well, I want to see Thor. Where's his comics? Oh no, it's her. It's that woman. That woman. No, you assholes. You artists. You creators at the fucking mainstream. You destroyed these shops. It was you. It's like there's nobody else to fucking point the finger at. You were given a legacy by your betters, by the Stanleys and Dickos and Kirby's, and your betters gave you a legacy, and the best you could come up with was Riri Williams and Kamala Khan. You fucking destroyed this shit.
Exactly. That was excellently said, accurately said. Fantastic all the way around. Let me pull up Yellow Flash's video again, and you can finish going through this. The fact that we're still winning, that we can't stop winning. All we do is win, chat. All we do is win. All we do is win, chat. All we're doing is winning recently. It's fantastic.
Sure, here you go, and it's Riri Williams. Oh, I really like Captain America. I really enjoyed that Avengers movie I just watched. Can you give me a new issue of Captain America? Sure, here you go. Oh wait, he's an Aussie now. He's a Yahtzee. Oh, you mean the other Captain America? Oh, here's the Falcon. They didn't capitalize on it all. This was a stupid move because now you have the Batman movie coming out. All right, you're going to get Luke Fox. You know what I'm saying? First off, if anyone's ever going to take over the mantle, it should be Dick Grayson. If you ever want to read a really good Batman and Robin run, go check out the run where Dick Grayson was Batman and Damian Wayne was his Robin. Oh, it's a fantastic run. This was when Bruce Wayne was missing for a while, and they had the whole Bruce Wayne Lost in Time stuff, and Tim Drake was in his Red Robin book and looking for him. The Batman books were firing on all cylinders at that point, in my opinion. But anyway, so this guy was announced. There was a lot of rumors. Newsrama and a few other outlets were talking about Ridley taking over the book. I don't know how that would have worked out. That's pretty much been debunked now. That's not going to happen because James the Fourth is just announced, do you have any plans to stay on Batman past issue 100? He said, yes, lots of them. I think they're going to keep him on there. Batman was in a really bad place because of Tom King. Tom King ran Batman into the ground. Okay. He ran into the ground so bad, the rumors are that they yanked him off of it and gave it to James to take over immediately. And because of his contract, he still gets to finish out 100 issues. So now they're going to quarantine the rest of his run in a Batman Catwoman miniseries. Which really won't affect anything because it's a miniseries. So now Batman is actually doing a lot better. James IV is actually pretty good. His Detective Comics run was really good. That was actually my favorite Bat book at the time. That was during Rebirth, and he had like this whole Gotham initiative that he was running. Batwoman was on. It was like a team. So it was like Batwoman, Tim Drake, Robin, Clayface, and a few other characters, and they were working to do like this fast response team thing for Gotham. It's a really good run. So I when he came in to do Batman, I said, cool, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. And it looks like he's going to get to stay on it. So then Dan Didio was fired and the industry went into shutdown, and we heard that some 5G work had been put into the back burner. But this takes it further. Bleeding Cool has now been informed that high-profile creators working on or alongside this Batman relaunch have been told to stop work and have received kill fees for completed work. A kill fee is usually a payment made
pencils down
when a publisher decides they will no longer publish completed work. Unlike the other history, Batman 5G and John Ridley's part in it were never announced by DC Comics. That was originally the plan for San Diego Comic-Con, which is canceled, by the way, because the convention center, I think, is like a makeshift hospital, unless they change that. Now it seems they will no longer be possible. Possibly, the work may reappear in another form. What this means for the other planned titles is not clarified. Maybe Brian Bendis will still see Jonathan Kent as the new Superman, but a line-wide fifth generation of DC comic heroes featuring a new lineup of lead characters is no more. And for some, that will mean it never was, and was just Bleeding Cool making it all up. I don't think that they are making that up. I think that was totally a real thing. I think they totally were going to make a non-binary Wonder Woman and all this crazy stuff.
How would that even work? A non-binary Wonder Woman? Then she can no longer be Wonder Woman anymore. Wonder Zim? What would that be? What would that be? Wonder is, I don't know. What would that be? That you can't have a non-binary Wonder Woman because it'd be Wonder Woman. Yeah, I mean a whole other character then, which would be the ideal situation. But they were going to replace Wonder Woman with this new non-binary version of her. So how would that work out? A non-binary Wonder Woman. You're a Wonder Woman. If they did though, I'm pretty sure it should be terribly written because. This whole thing is stemming from bitterness, is stemming from hatred of the people they see as different. And this non-binary Wonder Woman thing, this non-binary Wonder Woman idea would end up with a character that is pretty much, probably in all likelihood, going to be an overpowered bitch or something. You know what I mean? Something like that. So I think I know for sure if this is the case. And this was the idea. This was the idea that was going to happen. This is the idea that was going to bring us. I was going to come along with the 5G, with the 5G initiative, you want to call it. Then I think we were spared. We were easily spared a whole lot of grief. But unfortunately, we were also without the whole bunch of cringe that would come out that we could have laughed at with it. So that's unfortunate. Anyway, let's keep on going.
And AT&T came in and said, hell no, got rid of Dan Didio and put the brakes on it real fast.
And CKH and Morsha 2, appreciate that. Wonder Hermaphrodite. I guess it would have to be something like that. I think it would have to be something like that. Wonder Hermaphrodite. Can't really be Wonder Woman anymore. And see, Pointless, a gender blender. I'm pretty sure that's like what from the Kibblesmith school of naming superheroes, Kibblesmith. And we have Safe Space, Screen Time, Snowflake, and Gender Blender. They all go together. The new Warriors. Let's continue. Thank you very much, KH, for that. Appreciate it. Wonder Hermaphrodite. It's a top contender.
Probably the best and smartest move they ever did. And because they never officially came out and announced anything, which is the smart thing here, the blue hairs over on woke Twitter won't really get too upset about it because it was never officially announced. So it looks like 5G is gone. Now, I can't say John Kent won't become Superman because Brian Michael Bendis has been laying the groundwork on that for a minute. And he's just been flushing the character down the toilet for a while anyway. Hopefully AT&T will yank him off that book. Man, I would love that. Get him off that book. The guy who's writing the dollar version, the digital book, is doing a great job. Why don't you let him write it? Man, they need to get Brian Michael Bendis off. But anyway, 5G, no more. Looks like things are gonna gonna stay, I guess, somewhat the same. I really wish they kick Brian Michael Bendis out the door. That'd be great for DC Comics to do that. But all of this crazy woke 5G nonsense, that's not happening. I think that is canceled, and it looks like things will somewhat stay normal. Hopefully they'll just concentrate on telling good stories, That would help, make some good comics. That might help a lot. We'll see what happens. But anyway, woke Batman off the table. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, the more wokeness we leave on the table, the better off we'll all be. I think the better off our culture will be, the better off our sanity will be, and the better off the companies will be. The better off the companies will be. So we just all we're doing is winning, chat. Just win, 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 win. Just all good news all the way around, chat. But we're reaching the 2 hour and 45 minute mark, 2 hour 46 minute mark. We didn't get to everything I wanted today, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and close out the stream here, unfortunately, so I can have enough time to do things I need to do to get ready for Adam Post's stream. But if you want to see the continuation, if you want to see Morning Nonsense Part 2, head over to Adam Post's channel around I think 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I'll see you there. So until then, chat, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope you all stay safe, take precautions, make the best of this trying time. And I'll close out with this little song right here. Since we talked about Ethan Skype earlier, close out with this little song right here before we go. I think you might enjoy this one, chat. I think you might enjoy this one.
This is a love song about cannibalism. You and I thought we'd fly to Rio for dinner. We must have been high, but you and me and another 3 friends of yours crashed. George, Mike, and Emily. Now there's nothing to eat except for the meat that once was your friends who lived up the street. And I saved the last piece of George for you. He was vegan though he's tough to chew, but I saved the last of George for you. And I saved the last piece of George for you, though I gorged on the other 2. I saved the last of George for you.
All right. That's the end of that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, chat. And I will, if any of you want to come over to the Adam Post channel, I will see you all then. But if you don't, then until next time, I will of course then see you all next time.